Once out of it.
I would do that. I would do that.
We're not on a 35 but that's okay. Okay, we'll take it.
Okay, now we can. Yeah, now. And a good Sunday afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the inaugural home bowling match for the Niagara University women's bowling team. My name is Todd Callan, and we welcome you to Classic Lanes in Tonawanda, New York, as the Purple Eagles will host the D'Youville University Saints. We are happy to have you along here on a Sunday afternoon for a bowling matchup as Niagara gets things started, their first ever home match here inside Classic Lanes. Again, my name is Todd Callan, and right away, folks, we are going to bring in the Director of Athletics here at Niagara University. That is Simon Gray. And Simon, this is a day that people were pointing towards during the summer when the announcement was made. Here we are, the 29th of October. It is opening day here for the bowling team. Talk about what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I really appreciate it, Todd, and it's great to have you here. Thank you for doing this, and Kyle Barker and his staff for putting this production together. What a wonderful way to inaugurate our 19th Division I sport at Niagara in women's bowling. And a lot of credit to Coach Walsh and Coach Kuhn, who have put the team together, obviously, and then started them down this path of competition. And that's a pretty good way to start.
How about that way to open things up? As for the Purple Eagles, Paige Herndon has just stepped up and delivered a first ball strike. Now on lane 32, getting things started for D'Youville is Alyssa Mankowski, and she leaves a tough split. We welcome you here inside Classic Lanes. 2 stationary cameras. We've also got a roving cameraman making his way up and down the alleys. We will have some partially obstructed views every now and again on the lanes for the Purple Eagles, and releasing her shot at another one bound for the pocket. The Purple Eagles open up with back-to-back strikes. So how about that? That was Paige Snook who delivered a first ball strike. So a good start to be sure, Simon.
Yeah, I think this is great. I mean, I don't know who scripted this, but it was very well done.
This game looks so easy now.
Right. Todd, as I was saying, so when we were talking with Coach Jeff about starting bowling, how to properly get it started, we thought, why don't we have an individual event to just sort of to kick it off, right? Or to roll it off. I'm not sure exactly what the lingo is. But so he got this scheduled, and it was nice of D'Youville to join us here for a dual match.
So the delay that we're experiencing right now, as you recall, on lane 32, and the first ball by D'Youville left 3 pins remaining to be hit. I think it was the 4-7-10, and, well, sometimes it happens. The carriage came down, wiped away, picked up the spare. That's how I would like to pick up a spare.
Yes. Yeah, that's a broadcaster's help right there.
Have the carriage come down and do it. Talk a little bit about, if you will, Simon, maybe how this unfolded, because there was some anxious moments, I'm sure, for the Medaille bowlers. Of course, a lot of them coming over from Medaille when that campus closed. Talk a little bit about that. We have some time.
Yeah, well, what's interesting is we've always been looking at sport expansion at Niagara, and we thought bowling made a lot of sense because of the success locally, including Medaille, right, when Medaille had a bowling team. So it was a sport that we were considering from the beginning of sport expansion thoughts. And once the unfortunate circumstances came about with Medaille, it really made, it accelerated the process and made a lot of sense for us to look if there was a way that we could help the bowlers in their not only athletic pursuits, but also in their higher education pursuits.
And there you see the Purple Eagles, third bowler up. Mackenzie Smith went to the Brooklyn side, left the 5-pin. First Purple Eagle not to strike. Alyssa Mankowski finished up her frame, getting 2 of the 3 remaining pins. And how about some pin action there for Olivia Corbett? Well, a strike where at first it looked like maybe 3 or 4 pins were going to be remaining, and then just one befell the other. Now over to lane 31. You get a good look there at Mackenzie Smith looking to pick up that 5-pin. Looks like she's got that right on track. So a good start by the Purple Eagles. continue on, though, with that story, Simon, is remarkable.
Yeah. So another neat thing is that Susan Petronsky, who's our deputy AD at Niagara, was also the athletic director at Medaille previously. So she certainly had experience with the bowling team, with the coaches. But one of the things she was mentioning is, this is a nationally developed program. I mean, they've been to the NCAA tournament several times. They beat Nebraska, who went on to be the national champion.
There's a strike by the Purple Eagles. That is Taylor Strickland.
And so bringing them here, there was a lot of work from our admissions staff, to our financial aid staff, to certainly our athletics department, and then executive leadership within the university. We have all really embraced the bowlers and the bowling program.
Megan Kapsiak, you saw her step up for the Saints of Duville and clean up her spare. So now over on lane 31, getting ready to deliver her first ball. That is Brianna Thurston, and she got full returns there. The fourth strike of the 5 bowlers for the Purple Eagles, opening up frame number 1. So a very good start. There is the release. That is the Saints, and leaving a solid 8-pin in the back. Boy, putting that one right in the pocket. Good job there by Olivia Corbett.
Well, Todd, I'll give you credit already. You really speak the game.
You know it.
You know what's happening here. But I will say from our end, administratively, it was a lot to learn. We didn't know a lot about the sport, the scholarships, the roster size. Those things we had researched, in the sport expansion conversations. But it's certainly taken a lot of learning curve.
And there's Corbett, and she will clean up that pin for the successful spare. The difference, of course, with my bowling experience involves midnight bowling and colored head pins and winning 25 cents. But that is not the case. No money's awarded here today. And our dual match between the two clubs, stepping up now on lane 32, Michaela Passerb. The Purple Eagles unable to relax a little bit. 4 strikes out of the first 5 releases. And there's the anchor ball, and that one buries it in. So Michaela Passerb, the second of the 5 Duville Saints to strike. And now you see the clubs, you'll see this a lot, switching from lane 31 to 32. And Simon, we see it all the time on campus, home team sporting events, and the players pulling for one another. Boy, front and center, they are right here. You can do 8 high fives if you want as soon as your ball releases. This is great support. Over on lane 31, there's one, and that is a strike ball from Alyssa Mankowski as she bounces back from an open frame in the first. Well, thanks to Kyle Barker and his crew. There's a good look at that replay. So now back we go. Paige Herndon for the Purple Eagles on lane 32. As that one breaks it and gets all 10 as well. Back-to-back strikes for Paige.
Yeah, certainly need to see the camaraderie, and those are the type of things that the learning curve is what I'm talking about, right?
Okay.
We could certainly, research some of the administrative aspects of it, but there's cultural parts to this sport as well at the collegiate game that it's taken us a little while to learn. But I do love the team camaraderie, as you were talking about.
Summer Sega, I misspoke earlier. Summer Sega in the 2-hole for the Saints. She had the 9 pins, now up for the Purple Eagles. This is Paige Snook. Again, that one is right buried in the pocket, so some good pin action for Paige. So Paige Snook answers what Paige Herndon did to open up her match with a pair of strikes. There you see Sega cleaning up that spare.
Todd, I love that people are watching this broadcast.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that we can have it on. I would encourage people to come out and watch this as well. It's like these other sports that you can play recreationally, but when you get to see the real experts do it, it's quite impressive.
That is a great point. Standing room only crowd here at Classic Lanes. And there's a solid 9 count. That is Mackenzie Smith. You see this one. Boy, it hit right in the pocket, but no movement from the stationary 8-pin in the back, and there is 9 strong from Megan Kapsiak. A solid 7-pin. Now, we noticed when Simon and I got here early, when the teams had their initial warm-up period, well, both teams started out by focusing on cleaning up the 7 and the 10, kind of just the way that the bowlers will do it. The spare attempt, and that one is cleaned up by the Purple Eagles' Mackenzie Smith. At first, Simon and I were like, hey, they got one down. That's a win right there.
That would be for me. That's for sure.
That was all part of the strategy. Maybe like you think about the basketball team players will come out, they'll shoot some layups and then maybe some free throws before they just go out to shoot the threes. The spare attempt, and that one is cleaned up neatly by Megan Kapsiak. So now as we get you set for more second frame action, this is Taylor Strickland on lane 32. Good strong release there by Taylor. That one is destined to be a strike. Boy, another opening 1-2 frame strike. Well, how about this one? This is buried. We might have to look. They might only set up 10 half pins, Simon. That one was that was solidly hit. Talked to the coaching staff and a little bit about Taylor. Said powerful bowler, a powerful bowler, and that was in evidence right there.
One of the really neat things about what was able to happen in bringing bowling to Niagara is that so many of the student athletes got to stay together from Medaille to Niagara, and so there was certainly uncertainty around where their bowling careers were going to continue. Would they ever bowl again together? Would they ever bowl again for Coach Walsh and Coach Kuhn? But what a phenomenal opportunity this is.
The release on lane 32, and 7 pins knocked down by Brianna Thurston. Bree coming off a strike in the first. Now over on lane 31. This is Olivia Corbett, and that one is again buried. So the Purple Eagles now trying to support their teammate, the Madison, Wisconsin native, Brianna Thurston. One of the 6 bowlers for the Purple Eagles that came from Medaille. That's what Simon Gray was talking about. And that had to be some anxious moments in the summer. Where's my bowling going to take me? Do I have to put the ball away? But what a great job by the university to step up. And there we have a cleanup of that. Just one open frame through the first 10, counting both sides. And now we will see them switch places. But we talked about the university being able to step up, not just the bowling team, but a number of students coming over to Niagara.
All right, thanks for bringing that up, Todd, because that's exactly what I was just thinking. I was fortunate enough to serve on a committee that the Niagara put together to talk about how we could best embrace the students of Medaille and what their needs were. And it's since gone beyond that, as many have seen perhaps. The Niagara University is the legacy institution for Medaille. So several transcripts, academic records, and other forms of records will be living on through Niagara University.
Over on lane 31 is the Purple Eagles switch sides. 9 pins knocked over by the Purple Eagles leadoff bowler, Paige Herndon. And on the other side, and for the second time today, we've seen Alyssa Mankowski leave the 4-7-10.
This is one thing I was really looking forward to seeing is how they handle splits.
Yeah.
Because when it happens to me, like, it's over, right? I'm just hoping to get one from then on out. But they actually, they have plans, and they'll be able to pick these up.
And there's the Purple Eagles lead off, and they're able to knock that one down. Paige Herndon with 2 strikes and a spare. So here goes Mankowski, and that one will split the upright. So for Alyssa Mankowski, her second open frame of the day. 33 through 3 for her, and we will get the final tally. It is the total pinfall count in this opening game, if you will. We've got a long afternoon of bowling for you as the Purple Eagles look to win their opener here at Classic Lanes. There's another 10 count, and how about the start by the Purple Eagles, Paige Schnook Simon? She is 3 for 3.
That's a turkey, I believe.
That is very nice. Oh, that one right on the edge, and it did go into the channel. So Summer Sega, just a miscue there on the release. It went into the gutter.
One of the things that was also a primary objective when we brought bowling was to find a conference. Because like every other sport, it's the NCAA tournament is accessible through automatic qualifications. You can, of course, earn an at-large bid in bowling as well. But that was one of our primary focus once we brought bowling. Take care of the bowlers, get the coaching staff, but then find a conference that they can compete in and challenge for an AQ into the NCAA tournament.
You mentioned the success of Jeff Walsh and his program at Medaille as that ball slides past the head pin for the Saints. In the last 2 years, they have gone to the NCAA tournament, 22 and 23 the bid, and the competition is in the spring part of the schedule.
Right.
Everything counts, though, certainly from here. You're trying to accumulate those points as best you can, and just able to give that one a little bit of a nudge for the Purple Eagles. That is Mackenzie Smith getting her spare. Up for the Saints. Solid 9 pins for Megan Kapsiak. Niagara's jumped out again early. If you were looking at the scoreboard that I am feverishly keeping, I have never done this, keeping score for 5 bowlers on a team, 2 teams, while doing the play-by-play, but I think I'm up to date, Simon.
Did you put your request in for media timeouts, or did that not happen?
I don't know when there are timeouts. That's a very good question. Oh, and the Purple Eagles, they get a break there and make it 3 in a row. Taylor Strickland, when you're hot, you're hot. I think she got some help from a pin kind of hammering off the back and knocking out that looked like the 5 pin. So now on lane 32, here's Olivia Corbett. Or check that, that is Kapsiak, and her spare attempt just slid by.
Just to finish off the thought around the conference, we did put in an official application into the Northeast Conference, and very fortunate and very thankful to the leadership in the league and then the athletic directors to accept us in as a bowling-only associate member.
Fantastic. The big breaking ball, and there is a strike secured by Brianna Thurston.
And interestingly, Todd, the way the Northeast Conference does it, they have 3 events throughout the regular season, and the results of those events end up seeding for the conference tournament.
Okay. And folks, it's not like there's a D1, D2, D3. It's everybody with a bowling program will head to the national championships. Niagara earlier this year took on Nebraska, I believe, as part of the Youngstown State tournament.
Yeah. Right.
After winning their first tournament, Purple Eagles won the Mercyhurst Invitational. As we wrap up frame number 3, this is Michaela Passerb. Michaela with the neatly colored ball, and she's able to strike again. There are high fives all around for Michaela Passerb. So 3 frames in the books.
Classic Lanes has been a terrific host for us here today, and then also for our team. So this is where our team practices during the week, and that was another thing that we wanted to secure once we had Coach Walsh in place, is where the official home of Niagara Bowling would be, and we're really appreciative to Classic Lanes for hosting us.
I wondered, as strike there by Alyssa Mankowski, I did wonder, how close to the showcase lanes will the public be allowed to come? And there's a good, 6, 7, 8 lanes in between, which I think is really what you're looking for.
Right. And this area down here at the far end of the lanes is where they practice. So, we're learning these things.
Another strike, Summer Sega.
But there is something to playing where you practice.
Yes.
Right, for any team. Right? So you want to have that home lane advantage, and being able to practice here certainly would give them some comfort.
Certainly a big process is, how oily are the lanes and stuff like that. You hear in basketball, this gym has tight rims, and there is going to be, just missing that one to the right. So a miscue there by the Purple Eagles leadoff bowler. That's Paige Herndon, the first empty frame she has had, 75 through 4 frames for her. And a solid 10 pin after the release by Megan Kapsiak. But yeah, Classic Lanes, this is it's a nice setup. They have, you can see right there above lanes 31 and 32, the Niagara Bowling NCAA Division I placard.
We had that made for the press conference, so when we officially announced bowling, we did it right here at Classic Lanes.
A late break on that release. 6 pins, the first time that Paige Snook hasn't gotten a strike. She doesn't know what to do. I have to take a second shot. What? So how about the start by Snook? 56 after the second frame, as there you see a spare cleaned up for DeUville. Kapsiak able to knock that one down. So there's some work to be done so far, though, as Paige Snook will try and pick up. This is a difficult spare. 1-2-7 or 1-2-8-10, I believe. We will not fact check that, however. There you see the release. And 3 of the 4 have fallen. So what a start for the Purple Eagles' second bowler, Paige Snook. How about 84 is her score in after 4 frames. Remarkable. There's one almost directly on the head pin. Olivia Corbett knocks down 7. That snaps her strike streak of 2 frames in a row.
I need to give you a lot of credit here, Todd. I mean, you're actually scoring manually 10 bowlers, and there's no let up here. I mean, you are all over this.
I'm trying. Dynamite at 12:15. We'll see how it is at 2:30. Up next for the Purple Eagles, this is Mackenzie Smith, and 9 and just falling a little bit to the side. So 57 through 3 frames for Mackenzie with some work to do over on lane 31. Olivia Corbett trying to get her spare, and she will. 77 in the 3rd frame for Olivia Corbett. These are some high-quality bowlers.
It's nice that there are so many Western New York and Western Pennsylvania teams. You know, it really makes for a lot of travel during the year, but a lot of it can be local.
That is excellent. I mean, West New York bowling, that's a thing to do here a lot of times in the winter and stuff. You know, you head to the alleys, head to the lanes.
Yeah, a lot of tradition here. And we'll actually host 2 tournaments at Classic Lanes throughout the year, so a number of teams coming into this area to bowl.
Michaela Passer on the release, and a solid 10-pin. Boy, she buried that one in the pocket, didn't get any help. Yeah, this will certainly catch on. I know the Niagara athletics community anxious to see how things would unfold. The team has started great, winning the Mercyhurst tournament and acquitting themselves very well. And Youngstown State is just sliding past the head pin. That was Taylor Strickland. So she's got 6. And then unable to finish the spare is Michaela Passer. So the Saints have concluded their work on lane 31. Here we have Taylor Strickland. And folks, we're going to have guests throughout the afternoon. We'll also visit with Sydney Skimmer, not competing today. But Sydney will offer some insight on the Purple Eagles and bowling and able to pick up the spare there. And one of the things I was going to ask her about is the spare ball. The players will change from their strike ball to a different ball, the spare ball. I don't know. I thought a spare ball just meant you had an extra.
The intricacies of this has been really neat, you know, to sit down and talk with the bowlers and to observe just all the specialties that go into it. And, you know, remarkable consistency in this sport.
Yeah.
They bowl a lot.
And they make it look so easy, right?
They do.
It's all a matter of, I think, where you're going, what arrow in the lane, and making sure that it's like the steps have to be exactly accurate, and that's what happens. That is what happens when they are. Those 10 pins disappear. And as the Purple Eagles wrap up frame number 4, there you go, right in the pocket, and she knew it. So a good ball there. So the format of how this is going to go, this is this match with, or excuse me, this game number 1. All 5 bowlers, each bowling their own game. The total pinfall will determine the winner. Then games 2 and 3 start with a Baker scoring, Baker bowling, where all 5 bowlers will have somebody bowl frame 1, someone else 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1 through 5 will also bowl then 6 through 10. And just the complete teamwork as we open up frame 5, and 8 pins knocked down by Paige Herndon from Williamsburg, Virginia. Paige, one of 3 seniors on the club, and there is a solid 10-pin left by Alyssa Mankowski.
We were talking about the prominence of bowling in Western New York and also the competition that we will be in most often in Western PA and then on the Eastern Seaboard, but our bowlers are coming from everywhere. I mean, it's really a national sport, and we get to bring people from all over the country to Niagara.
And that spare is secured. Dana Murata from Hawaii was bowling at Upper Iowa, originally recruited by Jeff Walsh, ended up going to Upper Iowa. The Upper Iowa bowling program ended, and well, those two connected, and here she is now wearing purple and white.
Right. It's perfect.
And Purple Eagles led by 2 Hall of Fame bowlers here in Western New York. Peggy Kuhn and Jeff Walsh each inducted to the Bowling Hall of Fame here in Western New York. They each went in. They went in together last September, as there is 9 pins knocked down for the Purple Eagles. Solid 5 left there. So I guess when they speak, the team is listening. They certainly know what they're talking about.
That would be a good move. Yeah.
A little bit on the Brooklyn side, and leaving the 9 pin is Summer Sega. Total pin count to this point. This by the aid of the scoreboard. 332 for the Purple Eagles to 290 for the Saints of Jewville University. Paige Snook trying to clean things up on that spare, and she's got it. Just a little nudge is all it takes.
You were talking about Jeff and Peggy, Todd, and of course when we started the program, you know, there was it was opportunity from Madai, but in order to make sure that it was going to be right, we had to speak with Jeff and Peggy, you know, to make sure that they'd be great at Niagara as well. They were certainly great at Madai, but as we were looking at the athletes, of course, and looking at Jeff and Peggy, you know, we had to make sure it was going to be good for both of us, and it didn't take any time until we realized, you know, that those coaches are in it for the same reason we're in it, and that's the student-athlete experience.
You know, you think of the heavy lift just getting any season going, but this season, all the pieces having to come together, you are right. You got to tip your cap to both coaches, because they haven't just, you know, rolled the team out there, if you will, but this is a team that's winning. This is a team that has high expectations. When the season opened, I believe it was 28th in the preseason national poll. This team of newly minted Purple Eagles, 28th in the land. There's another spare secured by Niagara's Mackenzie Smith, and Mackenzie very confident. She does one of those things where she turns around and she doesn't even watch it hit. That, you know you've got it.
I've noticed that as well.
And that's the bowling thing, not a cocky gesture at all, as 2 of the 3 are cleaned up for Megan Kapsiak. But when you know you got it, just head back and start celebrating with your teammates. I need to make sure I see that pin go down.
That's right.
You know, take nothing for granted. Next up for the Purple Eagles, Taylor Strickland, Roslyn, Ontario native. Coming over from Madai. He whips that right hand, and a solid 10. Boy, you could not put it in the pocket any better than that.
You know, I would imagine, Todd, even though you're not looking to make sure that pin goes down, you are listening. You are listening for the tick of that pin and it to fall.
Yep, that is true. So Olivia Corbett just slid past the head pin there, probably missed her mark, so she's got a lot of work to do. To this point, 7 of the 10 still standing. On lane 31, there is a finishing up of the spare. Good work there by Taylor Strickland. Now all eyes back on lane 32. Good camera angle. You see the release as that one bends in and just leaves the 1 pin standing. So an even 100 by my count through 5 frames for Olivia Corbett. Purple Eagles cheering on Brianna Thurston. From Wisconsin, that one will have to hurry to the head pin, and it gets a little light on the head pin there. Now Michaela Passer. All the concentration as you begin to ready your steps. Look out. That one nearly fell off. Not too dissimilar from her teammate prior, Olivia Corbett. I mean, it's a good thing she had all that spin on that ball that looked like it was going to just fall off. So this one a little ticklish here for Bree with one pin directly behind the next. We are off center by a few frames here. I guess it is. Yeah, that's what happens. You chop it a little bit. So the first open frame for Bree. And then cleaning things up, Michaela Passer. So she got some good work there. That's a strike ball that you're throwing at that point. So here we go. They will change lanes. 4:26 for the Purple Eagles to 3:58 for the Saints of Duville. Halfway through this first game. So mentioning they'll finish this out, and then they'll switch to the Baker system, and they will play 2 games. It's 2 points to be awarded, but a lot of games, as they're a little bit light on the head pin, was Alyssa Mankowski. She'll get 7 to her credit. On the other side for the Duville Saints, Sue Jeziorski, their head coach, very accomplished bowler in Western New York. And there you see 9 knocked down for the Purple Eagles, Paige Herndon. Sue right around the same age I am, and I remember, boy, any bowling update in the newspaper, her name was leading it off.
How about that? That's
very strong.
Yeah.
So good to see that she has remained in the area. And Alyssa Mankowski with a little kick to clean up those 3 pins. So in addition to visiting with Simon Gray, and Simon, we certainly appreciate you stopping by, we have Sydney Skimmer from the Purple Eagles team not competing today. We'll visit with Sydney. Also, Dr. Debbie Colley, the Executive Vice President of Niagara University, as you see the spare neatly picked up there by the Purple Eagles' Paige Herndon. Sue Petronsky, as Simon mentioned, spent some time at Medaille, so certainly knows the program and helped get the Mavericks here. 7 knocked down by Summer Sega, so the Purple Eagles with a lead, but certainly only halfway home here in this first game. I can tell you both sides were intrigued by the fact this would be streaming live. There'll be some broadcast and announcements and everything, but that one slips over to the Brooklyn side. So 8 knocked down. So a lot of new things going on.
Yeah, and I think it's really neat, Todd, that you're able to broadcast this, because some of the tournaments that I've watched our teams, well, the 2 that I've watched so far competed, you're watching bowling, but you're not necessarily getting the commentary with it. And so it's harder to follow it. And it's a very hard sport to broadcast just because of the different scoring and those sort of things. So it's hard, and it's moving quite quickly.
It is.
And it's, you don't just have the one team score versus the other team score. You're concentrating on each person's 10 frames, at least in this format.
So stepping up for the Purple Eagles, Mackenzie Smith. Mackenzie looking for her first, and she is able to get, okay, I didn't want her to get that first open frame. How about, or Mackenzie will be next, my apologies. Mackenzie, who will now step up. How about this, a model of consistency. First 5 frames, 9 and a spare each time. She's looking to bury one in the pocket and get all 10. There you see Sue Jeziorski, just maybe some last minute instructions for the Saints. She is their head coach, assisted by Michelle Sterner. Megan Kapsiak Let's see what she does with that recently imparted knowledge on lane 31. The release in a solid 10-pin, but 9 strong.
And Todd, when we get Dr. Colley on here with you, I know you're thinking of this, but she really was a champion for connecting Niagara to Medaille, or Medaille to Niagara, along with our Provost and Chief Academic Officer, Dr. Tim Ireland. But Dr. Colley and Dr. Ireland deserve a ton of credit for making sure that not only the Medaille students were able to come to Niagara as efficiently as possible, but also that they felt welcomed once they came.
Tremendous, and there's so much in the young lives of these students before you even get to the student athlete part, changing schools. But boy, to roll out the welcome mat like Niagara did, it's a good family atmosphere there on Montego Ridge, and securing the spare right there for the Purple Eagles.
That might have been a 9 and a spare, I think, Todd.
It was
6 straight.
Exactly right.
I've been paying attention to the broadcast.
Good call. On the other side in lane 31 and leaving a little bit of a split, Olivia Corbett trying to avoid back-to-back open frames. Well, she might get some help to clear out that 10-pin, but you saw it just fall wayward to the side. So we will visit with Dr. Debbie Colley. Now for the Purple Eagles, Taylor Strickland, the junior, with that release, a powerful ball, and there it goes, all 10 go flying. Well, there you see all 10 of them back in the carriage. Nothing, not only standing, but nothing on the lane. They all disappeared. Now up on lane 31. And just getting one of the 2, Olivia Corbett. So that's her 3rd open frame here today. Michaela Passer in the anchor spot for the Saints. For the Purple Eagles, it is Brianna Thurston. They call her Bree. Bree whips that right arm, needing that. Oh, you could see that the pendulum, Simon, that right hand she was using as a pendulum, a little body language to get all 10.
Yeah, that's impressive. She has such a smooth release, of the ball.
I'll bring that into focus there as Michaela Passer, 9 strong. So the Purple Eagles have finished their 6th frame. Let's see how many. I believe the Niagara has 13 strikes to this point.
Nice.
Amazing.
I think sharp uniforms. That was one of the big concerns for our student athletes as they were coming. They wanted as much purple as possible, as you can imagine, coming to a new school. But the comfort and we were talking about the smooth release, right? I mean, your uniform does play a factor in there. Yeah. So Coach Jeff, Coach Peggy worked closely with one of our corporate partners, AdPro Legends, to make sure that we had something that our team felt confident in and also comfortable.
That's a great point, and it certainly worked. We mentioned they won the first tournament they played in, and they showed up. I got here early today. They got the purple sweats on, I believe. A lot of the girls were fashioning the total purple get-up, and that was good to see. Duville Saints, you see some good creative artwork on their uniforms. Good work for Duville University. We go back to the top of the order for both sides. That means Paige Herndon, a good leadoff hitter, if you will, for the Purple Eagles. Slid that one past the head pin. A little bit of action, but an 8 secured there for Paige. Alyssa Mankowski now for the Saints. There's one buried in the pocket. Well, she wears a smile, but thinking maybe that 10-pin, why is it still standing? That ball was buried in the pocket. You can see her switch to her spare ball. Got to get to the bottom of that. Now Paige trying to finish things up, and she does. Knock them both down. Paige has just one open frame. There you see the replay, picking it up in textbook manner. And a quick look is spinning around Alyssa Mankowski with her 4th straight mark in a frame, 3 straight spares. Got a little bit of a shot there in the standing room only crowd here inside Classic Lanes. It's worked out perfectly. The Bills playing on a Thursday night. Very accommodating. We appreciate Roger Goodell and the NFL schedule for we had no control over that, folks. That one a little bit direct hit on the head pin, so well, some work to do here for Niagara's Paige Snook.
But perhaps the NFL schedule did play in a little bit to how we scheduled this match.
Okay, that's interesting. Summer Sega with a strike. So chicken, egg, not sure which came first, it's all right. But this sure did work out nicely. So this is a handful here. See how Paige, if there's a way to pick this up, maybe to the left of the 3-pin. I think that's the shot here. And she picks up everything on the right side. So 3 there secured by Paige.
It is an interesting thought process in bowling, and even recreational bowlers like myself can think of that. Do you want to get as many pins as you can, or do you want to try to be creative, right, and try something fancy to try to maybe pick up all 5? And I think very smartly, she went with what she knew was going to be best.
That's true. Every pin matters. It is the total accumulation, 543 for the Purple Eagles to 479 now for the Saints as Megan Kapsiak just struck. There's one headed in and falling. Great pin action for the Purple Eagles. Well, how about that for Paige Snook? Or check that. Mackenzie Smith, my apologies. Now coming in late break there and getting 9 strong, Olivia Corbett. Well, you can still see the congratulations as, boy, how did Mackenzie pull that off? But they don't ask how, just how many. A big fan of that sentence. So here we go. All eyes now on lane 31. Taylor Strickland. She got 9, and good pin action there to remove that chance for the split. Deauville hanging around. Now trying to pick up that 10 pin, and that release and knocking that one down. Olivia Corbett knew it. Michaela Passer will finish up frame 7 for the Saints. For the Purple Eagles, Taylor Strickland, 9/10 of the way there. And she's got that one confidently turning around. Simon's right, she listened for it just to make sure, but I think she knew that was in.
I think so. You were mentioning the spare ball earlier, right?
Yes.
That was one of the first questions that I asked Jeff was, do we provide the bowling balls, or did the bowlers come with their own balls? And he said most assuredly they have balls that they're comfortable with, and that's what they'll be coming with.
That would have been, if somebody said I had to guess, I would have said that.
Right.
I think so. Michaela Passer concludes frame 7 for the Saints with a ball that was absolutely buried in the strike zone. So she's done after one release. Now for the Purple Eagles, Brianna Thurston. This one on the way, 8. So Bree with a little bit of work to do. I would think, although spare's much more routine for accomplished bowlers like this, but I would think on the hook side, you want to have that one on the left side because you're releasing from the right as opposed to maybe having to go the other way. There you see as Bree just cools off her hands. Notice yesterday I came by practice. A few of the bowlers had rosin bags. Anything to keep the fingers dry when you put them in the ball. Another smooth release and taking care of both pins right there is Bree Thurston. So to the 8th frame we had, and I have not said 8th inning yet, but you better believe I'm pretty close to saying that each time. On to the 5th frame.
Right.
Taking a look at the scoreboard, Niagara has now increased their lead. That was a strong 7th frame for the Purple Eagles. Niagara just over the 600 mark, 6:03. And the Saints at 499. And they will now leap over. And how about the strike there? Well into the 500s. Alyssa Mankowski. Look at this. Those pins just got tired. And they dropped down. She will take that strike wearing a broad smile from ear to ear. Niagara got to be careful there and missing her release point. For the Purple Eagles, that was Paige Herndon. So Paige, after opening with back-to-back strikes, 4 spares and an open frame here as she rolls it in the 8th. Now up for Juville. Had to be careful there, folks. You could see it. Good job by the camera crew here from Niagara University. Summer Sega hit that head pin just about straight on, and that leaves some spacing to clean up her spare. There you see lane 32. There is Paige with her release, trying to get all 5, and yes, she does.
Well, I know we're here to celebrate bowling as we should today, but it's quite a busy time of year for Niagara Athletics as we transition and close out the fall seasons as we did yesterday with our first, the cross-country teams competing in the MAC championships yesterday. And then we look forward to the winter sports, which are beginning here within the next week. Well, actually, hockey's already underway, excuse me.
Yep.
But the basketball start here within the next week.
The Purple Eagles split a road series at Sacred Heart. Nice win on Friday night before Sacred Heart came back. Despite 38 shots on goal by the Purple Eagles, they really peppered the Pioneers goalie. So back on lane 32, a solid 9 pins there. Also Niagara with playoff women's soccer action coming up in just about 10 minutes on the road at Mount St. Mary's. And a strike secured by Megan Kapsiak. Well, Duville, a little bit of a late surge here, trying to keep it close. 5:47 to 6:18. Duville has had 1 additional bowler so far because they haven't had to roll the ball so many times. A couple of strikes here out of the 3 frames, or the 3 attempts here in the 8th frame. There's a release, and that will just slide by. So an open frame for the Purple Eagles. Just misfiring there was Paige Snook. Back on the other side, solid 9, Olivia Corbett.
I don't know because I haven't asked, but I wonder how much macro thinking the bowlers do, or do they just focus on themselves and what they're doing each time and not thinking of the overall team score.
They're a solid 9. Are we going to get 9 and a wiggle? Couldn't get the 10 pin to get knocked down. Great topic. I asked Coach Walsh a little bit about that yesterday. He said, yes, Duville's going to be standing to our left or to our right. Our opponent, the pins.
Right.
So
makes sense.
That is their focus. So I guess more of a micro focus, if you will, to use your question there. It's just the 10 standing at the other end of the lane. I think they are committed to the fact that if they do what they're supposed to do, is that one slips away from securing the spare, is the scorer will take care of themselves.
Right.
Work on the release. It is a sport, I would think, where you can't get too high or too low. You're not going to hit anybody. It's not football where you got to keep that energy. You have to be focused on the release. And again, there's one that slips out of the hand. So misfiring a little bit on that one, Michaela Passer.
It just is interesting, like other sports, right? Cross country, like golf. You're actually out there competing as an individual sometimes, but it plays into the team game.
Yeah, and it's just what this is. We talked about the sports and seasons. There's a strike buried there by the Purple Eagles. That is good work there. Taylor Strickland, again, the powerful bowler that she is. Braden York doing great work for the cross-country team. Again, setting personal bests.
That's right. 7th overall yesterday in the MAC Championships, leading the team to their highest ever finish of 7th, the men's team.
You got a good replay there of Michaela Passer. So congratulations to the cross-country crew from Niagara. Braden York kind of rewriting some of the pages in the record book this season. And it's a hurry and, well, 8 pins secured there for the Purple Eagles. Brianna Thurston, you saw in the replay, a little bit light, but we saw earlier in this first game that Ufel had one where the pin action came from behind and then knocked the 2 and then the 1, and it was a strike. Not as fortunate that time for Brianna. 586 to 693, pending the release here by Bree Thurston. And she's got it, Simon. And one thing that they were talking with the coaches is dual match. Yes, sometimes when you have multiple teams and it's a tournament setting,
right,
it can be wild. I'm kind of glad we're starting here with the dual match, just 2 teams to focus on. But that has to be just ultra competition when you're watching all the different schools. And where do you fall in?
Right, and I would say even more so, like the coach was telling you, that's when you just have to focus on the pins.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, and that's also why it's probably impossible to broadcast those events overall, is because there's just so much going on. At the same time, you almost don't know where to focus. But I think really good just to keep your eyes directed on those 2 pins and knock them down.
For the Purple Eagles, they get rolling in the foundation frame. Paige Herndon, the 9th frame, opens with a strike. Alyssa Mankowski, her release. That one's starting to bend towards the middle, and she will leave 2. Ninth frame so critical, that foundation to set up the 10th, where you can make up some ground if you get hot in frame number 10.
That's the other thing I was just thinking, is you can't even look at it as how your team did in that frame total, because it's connected to the frame before and potentially the frame before that.
Yep. Purple Eagles started with 2 of their 5 bowlers with 3 straight strikes to open the match. There is 8 pins, looking for a little extra help, but not getting it. Paige Snook. Paige looking to get back on track here. Has had a few open frames in a row, and securing that spare is Alyssa Mankowski for the Saints. So I think this is a baby split, they call it. Not in a disparaging sense, but just not a 7-10, if you will.
Right.
But a baby split where you can go to the right of that 3 pin. And then the ball will carry them over to the 10. I've left many splits. Picking them up, an entirely different story. Leaving the splits, very accomplished at. And sliding past the 3 pin though, so just getting 1. As I watch both coaches, it's interesting. The lineup for this first game is not necessarily, that's how it's going to be for game number 2 with the Baker scoring, is 8 pins knocked down by Summer Sega. And we saw some Purple Eagles getting loose here, just going over some things in lanes 35 and 36. Juville has just 1 additional bowler. Niagara has 3. And both coaches also thinking about the lineup for game 2. Now in lane 31, Paige Snook buries that one. An absolutely perfect release. Now a chance and going through in between the pins. And an empty frame there for Summer Sega, back-to-back empty frames. For the Purple Eagles, Taylor Strickland now ready to go. Well, actually, she will wait. She will yield to her counterpart on the right. Is that right of way?
Etiquette?
Whoever is up first, I think, is what you go with. But I guess yield to the right of way, and there's 7 pins. Knocked down by Megan Kapsiak. Snaps her streak of 2 straight strikes. Not easy to say. Well, they had some practice at it after the first few frames for the Purple Eagles. There's a release, a powerful ball, and that is a strike.
That was a good scouting report you got on her. That ball goes down and does some damage.
They said powerful, the most powerful bowler that the Purple Eagles have. Kapsiak looking to clean that up, and she does. Just a little bit of chance there. You could hear the Jubal Club, something about the spare. It's not as consistent and rhythmic as, say, softball can be sometimes, but the players definitely supporting one another. I hear our girls, somebody says Purple Eagles,
right?
Talons. Just trying to keep the spirits high. Full set of 10 pins. Looking back at Brianna. She'll knock 8 down with that release. So as we get set for frame number 10. Not quite there yet. Pass serve at her ball. That'll get 6. Check that. It's Olivia Corbett. My mistake. Olivia Corbett with 6. Niagara. This will be the last ball that they roll here in frame number 9. They'll lead at 63 pins. Then again, just like Simon said, there is often some carryover where you can't quite fill in every lane's score. And splitting that one. So 1 down, but 1 remaining for Bree. She'll shake that off as she gets ready to approach the 10th.
You were talking about the chance, Todd. One of the first conversations we had before even bowling was cemented as a definite in coming to Niagara, we had a chance to participate in a forum with Medaille students just about coming to Niagara. Several institutions went to Medaille and had open conversations, essentially. And at the time, it was certainly a possibility, probable, but not a definite. But as we were meeting the bowlers for the first time, that was one of the things they brought up. We're already hoping and thinking about what our chance could be with Purple Eagles, with Talons. So it was pretty neat. It was pretty neat and showed the resilience that they have in knowing that they're going to go to a new home, but make it the best.
That's really cool. Thank you for that story. That's interesting because that, a little bit into the mindset of we are looking to do this and now we're going to do it right. We're going to do it how we like to do it.
Fully embrace it. Correct.
Yeah, perfect phrase. 8 on the first ball from Michaela Passer. My name is Todd Callan. Happy to have you along on this Sunday afternoon, joined by Simon Gray, the AD at Niagara University. What year are we at, Simon, for you? 9?
10th year.
10th year, double digits.
Right.
Double digits. All right. Sometimes it feel like a snap of the fingers, or?
It does. It does, both ways.
And there's one right between the middle, so an empty frame for Michaela Passer. The teams will change ends. We mentioned the exciting times of the fall and the winter sports. Women's basketball, preseason pick number 1 in the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. They seem to be embracing that, certainly not shying away from it. Coach Pierce and her squad.
They certainly are, and we have some exciting moments this year. As we've announced a promotional schedule for both of the basketballs and the hockey programs. We'll be putting up 3 new banners into the Gallagher Center this year, including the first on November 8th, when the WNIT banner from last year's outstanding season goes up before the Purple Eagle women's team takes on St. Bonaventure.
10th frame now under the Purple Eagles, and some emotion shown there by Paige Herndon. She wasn't sure on the release, but right in the pocket it went. So 1 down here in the 10th. That is the emotion you see in the 10th frame. Melissa Mankowski, she's got an extra ball, and she cleans up her spare opportunity in the 10th. Now, one thing that I wasn't necessarily always paying attention to is when the team switched from one lane to the next, did the scoreboard switch with them?
I don't think so. I think the scoreboard has stayed.
Because it is now just a 19-pin difference. Now they tally it up, 777 for the Purple Eagles, and there is 8 strong by Alyssa Mankowski. So Niagara is on that leftmost monitor. And here we go. This is a difficult spare pickup here by Paige Herndon. And every pin matters. Exactly what Simon was talking about. A 184 final.
Can't quite. Maybe in the old
Yeah, I think it
days
is a 184.
Yeah.
And there's a strike. Well, Summer Sega, she has had a range of emotions. She has had 3 strikes. She also had a gutter ball, if you will, as one slid off earlier. So she's really trying to right the ship. Certainly a strike to open the 10th will help do that. Here is Paige Snook for the Purple Eagles. The lead down to 48 pins. A good comeback by Juville, and there's one buried. So how about that opening to the 10th frame? Much like Niagara started this match. Delivering with that first ball. There you see Paige with a smile.
So the 10th frame is so unique that you wonder what the mental mindset is going into the 10th. If you try to just reset completely and totally focus on the next 3 balls and try to separate from the first 9 frames.
I think that's exactly right. And one thing is, do not leave the 10th frame open. Right. Or you are going to be at a disadvantage here with one additional ball by the other side. And here is Paige Snook again. Her release. That one's going to have to hurry. Left a little bit light. So 6 secured there by Paige Snook. Oh, now look at this. One thing I did not notice this, Simon, as we look at the right monitor, it actually tells you how to pick up the spare that is remaining.
I was thinking about that earlier because it looks so easy the way they draw it up there, but not quite.
Yeah. Summer Sega able to secure her spare. So 149 for Sega, 165 in the leadoff spot by Alyssa Mankowski. Trying to get all 4, and how about 3 of the 4 there knocked down? So that is the end of the game for Paige Snook. Now back on lane 31, and here is Megan Kaspiak with a strike. Things are getting tight. 815 to 788. Niagara by just 27 pins. Again, that 9th frame, that foundation frame. And for the Purple Eagles, a Brooklyn side strike. That was Paige Snook. Check that, Mackenzie Smith. My apologies, Mackenzie Smith going to the Brooklyn side to knock that one in. Megan Kaspiak. 8, but some work to do. She leaves a split. When it really does seem like every pin will matter. Megan, a little look of disbelief as she talks things over with another Buffalo Bowling Hall of Famer, Sue Jeziorski. Back to work for Mackenzie Smith from Burlington, Ontario. She too was part of the Medaille program. That ball right in the pocket. A solid 10-pin standing. So 162, the final tally for Summer Sega. Or check that, 162 for, that is the Purple Eagles. Paige Snook. I think slowing down a little bit to pressure the 10th frame. On lane 31 and just missing, but certainly giving it a go. And actually we had a substitute bowler, Haley Campanello, came in. All right. So it's going to have to hurry. Just missing and leaving the open frame. There in the 10th after the strike for Mackenzie. Olivia Corbett. There you see that smooth release from the right hand. She's got the full 10 count. Some good pin action, building on a strike in the 9th.
Yeah, there's a lot to watch in this 10th frame, isn't there?
No doubt about it.
Final scores per bowler, overall scores, and what they're doing with each of their throws here in the 10th.
And again, that foundational frame of the 9th, where some scores, as Simon said, the first shot of frame 10 can impact what you have in the 9th, so the Purple Eagles have pushed the lead back up to 56. Now the Purple Eagles, there you see that is Taylor Strickland looking to her left. I thought Olivia Corbett was ready to go. She has her head coach in her ear, so Niagara will go first. Taylor's release ball on the way, hooking in, 7. So there you see Sue Jeziorski doing something that may be cleaning out or drying off perhaps something in the finger hole there. Yeah, they're trying to get something out of there. That's Olivia Corbett. I don't want to say they're icing their own kicker, but a little bit of a delay there, but she wears a good smile there as Olivia will be ready to go. First, though, Taylor Strickland. And she's got it.
That was a big roll there.
Yes.
But that's great analyzing, isn't it? That's
Yeah.
a big roll there.
No, exactly right. Exactly right. Good release. It was, it didn't blast. It's just got to go down, though. Look at that look. That is great.
But as you said, just, it's so important to pick up that spare there to keep you alive for the last roll.
A strike by Olivia Corbett. Or check that, she has double in the 10th frame here. Olivia Corbett really getting after. There's the ball leaked to the pocket, but a good job there. That was Kaylin Weber. Kaylin Weber inserted into the lineup here, the former Kenmore East Bulldog. Well, how tough is that for the freshman, I would think,
really.
right?
Yeah.
And how about Olivia Corbett striking out in a good sense, folks? This is the 3rd straight strike for Corbett in the 10th. Doesn't quite look like it will be enough, but we will see. And there is Brianna Thurston, the anchor for the Purple Eagles. For Bree, does not have a spare to build off of. Last frame, that'll have to hurry, and that one dips into the channel. So a miscue there, and she will have to, I would think you go with the strike ball again, right? Even though it's your second shot, she'll probably wait. On the other lane, you see for the Saints a release there. That one just slid past the head pin. Michaela Passerb in the anchor spot. Sheet 2 building off an empty frame in the 9th. There's Bree trying to get them all. She will get 9. So an empty 10th frame. Michaela Passer. Looks as though the Purple Eagles have created a big enough cushion. Passer trying to get a spare and earn the extra ball, but that one will slide past. And Simon, as we look at the scores, 9:39 to 8:43, the Purple Eagles will take game 1.
That was a lot of fun.
Whew. That was a lot.
It got
tight. It got tight because of the strong performance by both clubs, really in the 8th and 9th frames to set the table.
Are you going to tell them that first? Okay. You guys can start the match on the left side of this one.
We're starting on the left?
You guys are starting on the left.
Okay.
Yep.
So, folks, there you see on the scoreboard 9:49 for the Purple Eagles, 9:39, pardon me, to 8:43 for the D'Youville University Saints. Game 1 goes to the Purple Eagles. Folks, we are going to take a timeout. We will come back with Game 2 action from here at Classic Lanes. This is NCAA Women's Bowling.
Sue, whenever you're ready, Sue. Oh yeah, they're supposed to. No, I think they're. Chris, are these switched? Are these switched? Okay, so we gotta take the other letters and numbers out. Okay.
Did it get switched?
Hey, that train is over. Get it out of. It's still here. It shouldn't be there anymore. It's not over.
I'm still where I am, but not that would have been in the lane because the last shot with the innovator didn't come up at all.
One and one right.
Okay.
Yep.
And we welcome you back to Classic Lanes as we get started now on the Baker scoring game 2. The Purple Eagles against the Dieuville Saints. This is one where the lineup of 5 bowlers and getting 9 for Dieuville as they lead things off. And that was the same Alyssa Mankowski getting 9. So what it will be is the 5 bowlers for each side, each player getting 1 frame. If you bowl the first frame, you bowl the 6th frame. And there's a spare secured by the Purple Eagles. Paige Herndon in the leadoff spot. So we will try and keep up with this one. Lane 2 now just underway. We want to welcome in Dr. Debbie Colley, the Executive Vice President at Niagara University. Dr. Colley, very nice to see you.
Very nice to be here.
Yeah, I'm sure that it is. We'll keep folks up to date as we are rolling along as Dana Murata opens up frame number 2 for Niagara by securing 9. But boy, from the summer when there was an announcement and then a chance that we're going to get bowling here to Niagara University, I know you had a big hand in that. Talk about how proud you are for this day.
Oh, I couldn't be happier to see all these bowlers here with us at Niagara University. There was a lot that went on to get to this day, and we can't even imagine how it felt for the student athletes to think that everything they had been working for was going to change. And now here we are. We're very proud of the university and of these students.
I think one of the things that was remarkable, a little bit from afar, not nearly as close to the conversations that you had, but how much you made them feel a part of the campus community. As soon as we knew there was a sliver of hope that they might come here, it wasn't like, oh, we'll settle for them. It was boy, they want us over there at Niagara. How did you get that feeling across?
Well, what we did at Niagara is we immediately put together a full committee of people. I worked with our provost, Dr. Ireland, with Simon Gray and everyone, and said, what can we do? Because this is heartbreaking. So our approach was, number 1, compassion. Number 2, we're all in higher ed together. And how could we actually help the students and their families? Because everything you've worked for now is up in the air. And so that's where we started. And we went to the Mackay campus, and then we invited everybody to Niagara to spend a little time with us, see who we are and how we work.
Wow. Was there a point where you had thought, hey, I think we've got this, or you just wait until it's official before the ink is dry when you know they're coming because so many pitfalls perhaps along the way? When did you feel like, all right, we've got it?
Sometime in the end of the summer.
Okay.
We said we're meeting people, we're going there, and we're really going to be helpful to the community, to the full Mackay community. And then on our side, it's just wonderful. We didn't have bowling.
Right, it's great.
Right? And this is a bowling community, so we were really excited about it.
A lot of Hall of Famers talked about it with Simon Gray, Sue Jeziorski, the coach for Dieuville in the Hall of Fame, both of the Purple Eagles leadership, Coach Walsh and Coach Kuhn. So, yeah, bowling is big in these parts as we see that ball slip by for the Purple Eagles here in the Baker scoring system where, again, the lineup of 5, they will play 1 game as a group. But you talk about the long hours and how it came to fruition. And I know that Dr. Tim Ireland had a big hand in it. Talk about how Tim and everyone was able to contribute. You talked about the committee, but I know that maybe you and Dr. Ireland certainly took a leading role.
Yeah. So part of what you have to do as a university is develop a teach-out agreement. You know, how do the two universities work together to finish programs so the interruption in the program of study doesn't happen? And so that was the first thing we did, and Dr. Ireland took a strong role in that. And then we started working with the state education department to say, how do we get approved? How do we do this? And our approach was always, what can we do? What are our strengths? And how do we really make that blend? So we worked with faculty. We worked with all of the folks across campus to really take the time to meet everybody and to do all of that work.
And not a lot of time, right? It sounds like a lot of steps to do. No shortcuts to something like this. No shortcuts, but a lot of long hours. Had you in your career been through anything like this that helped you prepare it, or was this a little bit, hey, we're going to learn on the go? Students have to learn on the go all semester long, right?
Yeah.
We're going to have to do it. Or had you been through something like this?
We're going to have to do it. But some of us have done a lot of work at the national level, and the challenges in higher ed are out there. They're out there. And so you don't want this to happen to anybody, but you really want to make sure that we're all working together as a community to make sure that the families aren't impacted and that the students have a good experience. So I think, we became the legacy institution for Medaille. We just brought their bison to Monteagle Ridge on Thursday.
Okay.
So we're going to have a reception so we can celebrate having that bison somewhere on the grounds of the Niagara University campus. But being the legacy institution is really an honor for us, too, because we're able to stay connected with the alumni and see what we need to do to make this okay for the Medaille community.
And personally, how much of a bowling fan are you? Are you out there every Friday night, midnight bowling? I was talking about colored head pins, all that jazz. How much of a bowler are you?
I'm telling you, I'm from a bowling family.
Really? Okay, I didn't know this.
We have a Hall of Famer in our family, and a lot of bowlers. I think my dad was a big bowler. I've been on bowling leagues, but but my cousin is in the Hall of Fame, and her daughter went to Niagara, so she's a mom of an NU student. And I told her we're going to be here today, so I think she'll get to a game for us. We're a bowling family.
That is tremendous. I got to do more research. That's an error on the play-by-play guy, not knowing about the family history there. As Paige Herndon opens up the frame for Niagara with
it's fun.
An impressive strike. So this is interesting. This Baker scoring system. Gone is where you are bowling all 10 frames. This is the ultimate team event. I liken a little bit to the alternate shot in the Ryder Cup. It is one frame that they get to finish. It's not like the next person does that, but you're bowling the first frame, and then you are a cheerleader until things get going in the sixth frame. Talk about how much teamwork is important here. You're really pulling for your mate.
Wow. It's unbelievable, right? I'm just trying to learn all the rules. I have to tell you, I'm pretty impressed with you that this is our first home match, and you have all the detail down pat.
I was at practice yesterday. I did come up and visit with the coaches and met some of the team, and they certainly were. I'm sorry, this game's going to be broadcast. This is going to be streamed, but they've gotten comfortable with that. I think at first they were maybe a little bit more nervous, but boy, they've settled in really well. So thank you, though. I appreciate that. This is fun. I wanted to be part of the inaugural home dual match, the inaugural broadcast. This is great as Dana Murata, all the way from Hawaii, secures that strike. And we talk about relationships, and I was speaking with Simon a little bit about the recruiting of Dana, who bowled at Upper Iowa last year. That program folded, but the connection that she had with Coach Walsh. Talk about how proud you guys are of an institution to have this quality coaching staff that we have here.
It's all about the coaching staff. We expect leadership in our coaches, and we expect them to develop that culture that's not only for the team but the whole campus, and you see that across all of our coaches and all of our sports. So we are just really pleased that we can have that coaching staff and that they know these student athletes, and they've really brought them together in this remarkable way.
Kaylin Weber able to strike in that last shot. And you think about, if it's an uncomfortable recruitment process or a conversation that didn't go well, maybe that call by Dana doesn't get returned, but Jeff Walsh is reaching out. I'm going to call back. I had a great experience. I didn't go there, sure, but the conversation was very good, and that had to play a part in rekindling that recruitment.
Right. So we did a lot of work with everyone at Medaille when this was going on, because what would you do if you're the student athlete? You're relying on that coach, right? You're relying on them to help you through this difficult moment and to help figure out where we're going to go. So landing at Niagara might not have been easy for all these athletes.
Yeah.
And so because of the coaching team, it's exactly like you said. They can talk to them, they know their families, and they can help move them in some really good directions.
Quick peek at the scoreboard. Niagara doing good work here in this first game of the Baker scoring system. The Purple Eagles with 121 up in the 7th, but have landed strikes in the 8th and 9th frames, really setting themselves up for a fantastic finish in the 10th. Juville has some work ahead of them. So here we go with the Purple Eagles opening up the 10th frame, and that one just a little bit light on the head pin for Bree Thurston. I do also want to say a little bit of the, it was a story when news broke. Let's away from the lanes for just a minute. When news broke that Medaille was going to be closing and various institutions stepped up in some way, shape, or form. But I'll tell you what, there was a great blitz. Everyone wanted to know how the Purple Eagles are taking on so many students. How important was that to you guys to be not a landing spot, but a great landing spot for those students?
A great landing spot. And I would mention in that regard our academic programs. So part of that equation was you're not just coming to Niagara, but you're coming for a top-tier program. And a lot of the students were asking about that. What programs do you have? Are they accredited? What do your graduates do when they finish the program? And so all of those strengths that Niagara brings in the academic realm really helped with that, because students wanted to go somewhere where they could be successful. And that work included the deans of all the colleges and the chairs and the faculty. And that was even helpful to the bowlers. They have a lot of different majors. They're amazing academic students, as well as look at this bowling that they're doing. It's a beautiful combination.
Purple Eagles have finished up their first game in the Baker scoring system with a score of 175. Olivia Corbett struck in the 9th frame and getting rolling here to open frame 10. There you see Michaela Passer. And Michaela will be in the anchor spot here in this 10th frame. Now let's see, 87, 117, 147 is as high as they can go. So it certainly looks as though, barring some mathematical error there, that I think Niagara's going to strike first blood here. There will be 5 games like this to award that second point. Niagara, by virtue of the opening game, they were able to take that one and secure the first point. Just a little bit light on the head pin, but 8 pins down for the Saints. So we talk not just about, hey, let's add a program. This is a national top 30 power in bowling in our little neck of the woods here in the 716. I know that's, we weren't necessarily looking at record books, but this is a good team you have here.
This is a very good team we have here. And from the minute we started talking with Madai, that's what they said. We have a really good team here. And we have majors, very difficult majors. So these young women are studying and practicing, and they just can do it all. So bringing that to Niagara University has just been a wonderful opportunity for us. And this team now is part of a larger D1 spectrum that we have.
Right.
When you see everyone together, they're already active on campus. They're already getting really involved, and that's what you want to see.
175 to 135, the Purple Eagles do secure game 1. And again, there will be 5 games, so 4 more to follow just like this. And then just like we saw in the opening game, it is a total pinfall tally that will award the points. So the teams have just switched sides. To this point, we have not been given any lineup change by either side. So right away, we steamroll right into the next game. You see the Purple Eagles rooting on Paige Herndon as she will open things up on lane 31, and that one just a little bit light as it crossed over. 7 of 10 knocked down as we visit with Dr. Debbie Colley. And Debbie, we have used the phrase student athlete so much in our discussion already, and it is so important that these kids also perform in the classroom. Talk about the focus and how they're able to do it. I know for the basketball team, they've got the study halls, and how much pride do you guys take in the grade point average of your student athletes?
Oh, we take great pride in that.
Yeah.
That's like the most important thing for us is how students are doing academically. And when they combine that to superior athletic qualities, it's just the best combination. But we have to think about the faculty in that too, because part of what makes that work is our faculty know all of our students, and they work with them so that you can still practice, you can get to tournaments when they're out of town, and not miss any time or anything that has to happen in that classroom. And that's the faculty. So the faculty are really involved with these students, and that makes a big difference.
That's excellent. I will tell you this, that my oldest son graduated from Niagara, and he was the manager for the basketball team, so 4 years, and he was doing all of the traveling. And one of the things that stuck out with our visit with my wife and I and Bryce was the professor saying, we know if you're not there. And we're gonna find out why you weren't in class, and they are held accountable. And it is so important. I love what you said about the faculty and the difference that they make. And in Niagara, it is one big family, but you're going to be held accountable. And it's time to grow up, right, for these young students.
Mm-hmm. And they work with the coaches. The coaches do that too. That's the leadership of the faculty, of the coaches, and everyone. They bring all of that together. They hold the students accountable, but they also help them get there. And when you know your students, you can do that. And that is what we do. And that's what leads to really high grade prone averages, really good performance on the lanes, and it ties it all together. Plus, these young people are really active on campus, and we love to see that as well.
as we get rolling here in the second game of this Baker scoring system. I know, Dr. Colley, all you have to do is pay attention to some of the advertising for Niagara University. The 98% their placement rate are continuing on with their masters, and that probably right in line with what some of those Medaille students were looking to hear is the success, when you graduate from college, because not everybody continues playing that sport. Sometimes it's senior year, we make a big deal out of senior night, and that's it. And there's a whole bunch of life left, but they are positioned for success.
Right. And so that's one of the things we're really proud of. And I would say there's like the top three. One is our placement in either jobs or graduate school. That's what matters. You're making this
Totally
investment.
right.
That's the value. Our graduation rates, as you know, are very high. So students actually finish their degree. And then the other is retention. Do we keep students year to year because the experience is good and they're doing well? And those are some of the top 3 points that we shared with Medaille and we talked to them about, so that they knew if they came over to Niagara, this was the investment they were making.
Well, that is great. Just they came into welcoming arms. You really do paint a good story as to how the whole process unfolded. Slow start by both clubs here in the second game, 26-24. D'Youville with the lead through the second frame, and a little bit of a wiggle there, leaving a spare opportunity. That is Megan Kapsiak. On the other side, to her left, there's the Purple Eagles' Kaylin Weber, the former Bulldogs from Kenmore East. And she will get 3 of the 4 that were remaining for her. And Simon and I were talking at the outset, they made it look so easy. When is there going to be an open frame? And well, now here these scores are something that maybe I'm a little bit more used to. How did you do bowling? You carrying a 180 average? What are we carrying?
Oh, no, let's not go there, Todd. We're not going there. I go from a bowling family. My dad used to sit in the back and holler. I got a lot of those spares. They make it look easy.
They do.
It's not easy. It's really tough. But when they're throwing that down the lane, it looks a lot easier than what I remember.
Yeah, totally right. There's 9 pins.
How about you? Are you a bowler?
Yeah. Not as much. I did bowl earlier, maybe once a year or something now. I'm a lefty, so that's a little bit unorthodox. Yep. Big Earl Anthony fan growing up because he was left-handed. That was the end of the similarities. Once the release, once the ball left our hand, it's starkly different. So for Niagara over there on lane 31, trying to clean up a spare opportunity. 9 strong, that is the E7, and just nudged it over. No, you don't need to blast it over. Emily Brock gave that one a little nudge. You see that wry smile there, knowing that maybe I got away with one there.
I just love to watch these young women when they come back from a strike. The smile on their face is just ear to ear, right? It's just wonderful to watch it.
Got a good shot of Olivia Corbett there, also fashioning a smile as she cleaned up a 4-pin spare for her. So for Niagara in the 5th, Brianna Thurston, the Purple Eagles with 43 plus this first ball will go up in the 4th frame, and that one missed its mark. So just 3 secured there by Bree, and this time not the smile, but a little bit of a look of concern etched across her face. Now on the other side for the Saints of D'Youville University, and 10 strong buried there. Michaela Passer, here it is, Dr. Colley, right in the pocket.
Oh, that was a good one.
Nothing left, everything back behind the lanes. This were the old-fashioned days. The pin setter would have a lot of work ahead of her, him or her, to find them. Get those 10 pins back up secure.
Hey, here we go.
Let's see what Bree does. Bree will leave the 1. And I had some notes yesterday. This was interesting. We'll have to see how quickly I can find this. But 2 of the Purple Eagles work here at Classic Lanes. Maybe you knew that. Maybe you didn't.
No, I didn't.
I don't have it here in my notes. I believe it was Paige Herndon. Works here and works in the back. Mechanic number 2 is how she fashioned her title.
Well, these are very impressive lanes.
Yeah.
You must have the same thought. There's so much going on here. not only for the D1 competition today, but it looks like families and leagues and all kinds of things here. So it's just an all-around wonderful place. We're fortunate to be able to continue playing here.
Winners in Western New York equal bowling, no doubt about it. We talked about it.
Yes, they do.
Alyssa Mankowski able to secure the spare for Madai, now with 75 up in the fifth, building off of a spare. So Niagara down here. Purple Eagles trailing it by 20, just about halfway through. And back to work for the Purple Eagles. Paige Herndon, she is able to clean that up. You saw that thing where once they turn around and they walk back, they know they've got it.
And see, look at, they have the little eagle here too, so Monty's watching over them.
That's right. They brought
you have to love that.
The little stuffed mascot. There's 8 pins knocked down. That is for D'Youville. Haley Campanella, who was a late sub in game 1. So now Dana Murata, all the way from Hawaii. Kapa'a, Hawaii is where Dana Murata comes, the junior lefty. The only lefty on the Purple Eagles lineup here today. Dana looking to build off of a spare by her teammate, and that went just a little bit to the left of the head pin. Slid it over, takes care of 7. Over to Campanella, trying to clean up 8. No, she got 8, trying to clean up the final 2. Not confident on that release, and you can tell, boy, great work by the camera crew.
Right. They clearly have an idea when that ball is going down the lane, where it's going. If it's just a little off, that's all it takes.
That's exactly right. They're going for spots. Dr. Colley was talking about the vibrancy here inside Classic Lanes, and there it is.
There it is.
Yeah, they are. The camera crew is dialed in. A couple stationary cameras. We have a roving cameraman. Back to the action on lane 32, 9 solid there for Kepsiak for D'Youville. So Niagara's going to need a comeback here. Let's see if Kaylin Weber can get things going. Kaylin gets some help there to wipe out the 10. So almost had a big-time split to tangle with. She'll just go for 2 on the left side, the 4 or 7 combo. Niagara with the scores up in the 7th frame. Purple Eagles still trailing it by 22. Going for the spare, Campanello, and she's got it. Late break there. So trying to match her.
I have to say, though, we're just as nervous watching this sport as we are all the others, aren't we?
There's a scoreboard involved. You are right. We are checking the scoreboard.
We're checking it.
Good job there by Kaylin Weber to secure that spare. The only freshman on the roster for the Purple Eagles. Local product, did her high school bowling at Kenmore East. Remember the Bulldogs, and there is one buried. No doubt about that. Olivia Corbett, look out, folks. Look at this one, all gone. That 10th pin will disappear. Emily Brock for the Purple Eagles trying to answer all kinds of activity around that 7th pin, but it stayed strong. There you see Coach Jeff Weber. This is more so looking into the next game, right? He is already forecasting who is going to be in the lineup for game number 3.
And then you had mentioned it before. It's really wonderful that he came to us with the team and that we were able to have that continuity. But also he's becoming a part of our university community.
Great.
And all of the things that we do, what the coaches do together, what they do with Simon, but really all the other opportunities that we have across campus. And that'll help us with the future of the bowling team as well.
Securing the spare there. Good work by Emily Brock. And that's so interesting that you said that, because so much focus has been on today or that Mercyhurst thing, but you know what? This is building a program. This isn't just one and done. That's a great point that you make. That Coach Walsh and assistant coach Peggy Kuhn, they are looking to build a program here.
And we haven't really said much about the mission, but as you know, that is part of our mission, and what brings people to us is our commitment to serve others and to go above and beyond what we have to do. And so when new people come to the campus and they become part of that mission, our Vincentian mission, it just kind of pulls it all together in a way that's very powerful. And I think that's what the Medaille community saw in Niagara.
Very well said. We have seen very well chronicled how the teams will step off campus, and it doesn't matter what team it is.
Doesn't matter. We
Hockey,
see them in the community.
basketball, softball,
helping.
they are in the community. They're making a difference. 9 strong pins there by Michaela Passer, but yeah, it is not just, what happens in the classroom or for fans that come out to a hockey game or something. We're walking through the doors when they drop the puck, but boy, how much work has gone on behind the scenes and in the community. I know it's very important to Father Marr and all of the executive leadership there is kind of in revitalization of Niagara Falls and doing everything we can to be difference makers.
And it's something that we don't talk enough about. Our teams are out there in the community. They're helping residents. They're helping with some of the main issues that are going on right in our backyard.
Yeah.
And we don't talk as much about that, but there they are. The whole team might be there. Part of the team might be there. And when the community sees them coming, they know that help is on its way and that we're doing what that mission says. It's not just on the wall. It's a mission in action right in our backyard.
And I've seen it in person. It's not like they're begrudgingly getting there. They get there early. The Purple Eagles, the student athletes, wrapping up here the second of the Baker scoring system. The Juville Saints will win at least the second leg, and there is a strike buried. Something to build off, perhaps, for the Purple Eagles. A 161-136 final in game number 2 of this Baker scoring system. There will be 5, and then the final tally to this minute before we take a timeout. To this minute, 501 pins for the Juville Saints, 465 for the Purple Eagles.
And
Dr.
thank you,
Colley,
Todd. What a pleasure talking with you.
yeah, really
Thank
nice
you.
visiting with you. Folks, we're going to take a quick break. More to come after this timeout. This is NCAA Women's College Basketball from Classic Lanes.
Trust what you see, make the shot, and if we have to make a ball change, we'll start talking about it.
And we welcome you back here to Classic Lanes as we continue on with the inaugural home match, a dual match for the Purple Eagles as they take on the Juville University Saints. My name is Todd Callan. We appreciate you spending part of your Sunday afternoon with us. The Purple Eagles did pick up the opening point, and now here we are in game 3 of what will be 5 in the Baker scoring system. And very pleased to be joined live now by Sydney Skimmer, sophomore for the Purple Eagles, not competing here today, Sydney, but we certainly appreciate you dropping by, and finally someone very knowledgeable in bowling, part of the broadcast. But first of all, thanks so much for coming by.
Thank you for having me.
No, we certainly appreciate it. High school bowling at Alden, Alden Central. So good to be back home here in Western New York. Let's talk a little bit. One of the things that, boy, a couple of our commentators have asked, the strike ball, the spare ball, talk a little bit about the difference there. What is the difference?
So the spare ball is like a plastic ball, and it's meant to go straight, so you have a more accurate shot at making your spares.
Interesting. Okay, that sounds very logical. There's a strong 9 offered up there by Kaylin Weber. Now, the opening point was awarded as Niagara. Total pinfall exceeded Dewville, but now this Baker scoring system. Talk a little bit about what that is like, where it really does shift from it's not just me and my game, it's me and my teammates. Talk about Baker scoring and how much you like participating in that setup.
Yeah, so it's a lot more like energetic, and you're more with your team because you each get 2 shots in one game. So it just really brings out all the energy with the team.
Here is Kaylin Weber trying to knock down that 10 pin, and she's got it. Talk a little bit about, again, we're building off some things that were said earlier. It's always a good look of confidence, and I'm sure all bowlers do this at your level, as accomplished as you are. When they know they've got that spare, you can turn around.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up with that? You don't need to see it going down you're that confident in. It's all in the release? Is it hitting your mark?
Yeah, it's more hitting your mark and just being confident in the shot that you make.
All right, Olivia Corbett on lane 31 as the Purple Eagles will bowl this game on lane 32. Here is Emily, and a little bit to the Brooklyn side and left the strong 5-pin. Talk a little bit about your game. Is it a power game? Is it, strikes more times than spares? What kind of action do you bring to the team?
I say it's more of like a mental game, just always being there and being able to make your spares, because that you won't always strike, but spares will always bring your score up.
Okay. All right, here is Emily after an empty frame by the Saints. And Em will spin that one right in, knock that 5-pin down. I don't know if you heard that old adage, nobody misses the 5-pin. Have you ever heard that?
Yeah, people still miss it, though.
I was going to say that's the falsehood. Because, you can definitely slide one past. Back on lane 31 as the Purple Eagles out to an early lead. So 8 pins knocked down there in the first ball by Michaela Passer. We'll talk a little bit about the kind of the excitement of a home match leading into today.
Yeah, it definitely is exciting being home and having people be able to come and watch everybody today. So it's a great thing.
Now a little bit of a late break, but a good job securing that one. And that was Brianna Thurston. And there you get a good look. There we are. Sydney, there we go. We have her visiting here with us live as we bring you Purple Eagles bowling now on lane 31 and chopping wood a little bit, leaving one up. That is 9 and an empty frame for Michaela Passer. My name is Todd Callan, and Sydney, talk a little bit, if you will, about Coach Walsh and Coach Kuhn. They seem to have, this is quite an undertaking, getting a brand new team here on campus. I just talked to Debbie Colley about how the university tried to welcome the club with open arms. Talk about kind of that welcoming feeling you've had here coming back to Niagara.
They've definitely been welcoming all of my team here, and you can just see they have great chemistry with all the girls on the lanes right now.
Page able to get good pin action there. Dewville trying to answer. Now this is, a bowling match, a dual match. I know the tournaments are even longer.
Yeah.
But, the ladies, they're going to be here a while. Talk about trying to keep it on an even keel. Don't get too high, don't get too low. How do you keep your emotions in check?
You just have to, if you throw a bad shot, just forget about it and focus on the next frame. It's a long day. It's a mental game. You just have to be mentally there to be able to do good.
Here is the lefty from Hawaii, and Dana Murata bringing that one in. And she buried those. Now trying to answer on the other side. There's some work to be done, and leaving an empty frame there. That was Alyssa Mankowski as we visit with Sydney. Talk a little bit, if you can, about the lineup and not, how does a coach maybe go about deciding who's going to go in? And I know there's some practicing going on, and sometimes it's last-minute decisions, right?
Yeah. So the lanes are starting to break down now, so it's basically whoever can hit the pocket and make a spare or keep it in the pocket right now, and I think they're doing a great job at that because they're on 3 strikes in a row right now.
Yeah, the team is rolling it, and when you say breaking down the lane, is that it's not as oily, and you can, what do you mean by that? The lane is breaking down a little bit.
When they keep throwing shots, the oil disperses throughout the lane, making it, they have to move and get away from that, otherwise their ball isn't going to perform good in the spot they were in.
And here is another strike, this time going to the Brooklyn side, and the freshman turned around. She knew she had it even though it was going to the Brooklyn side. So what an answer here by the Purple Eagles after dropping that second of 5 Baker scoring systems here in this third one, but Niagara is off and running. Saints trying to answer, but leaving that one in the channel, and it's an empty frame. Haley Campanello, the junior, misfiring. So it looks as though the Purple Eagles, boy, a stranglehold here on this third game, and there is 8 strong by Emily. So very interesting. I was wondering about that spare ball. So definitely a different makeup to the ball, just one that will go straighter. Talk a little bit, if you will, as we visited with some folks from administration, Simon Gray and Dr. Colley, but now from a student-athlete perspective, talk a little bit about the demands as a student-athlete, where it's student first. You got to pay attention, to the classroom and taking care of your studies, and talk about how you are able to successfully achieve that balance and still, perform in the classroom.
It's all about managing your time and just when you come to practice, putting everything out of your head and just focus on practice, and then when you get off the lanes, just focus on school. That's normally how I do it. Just take each day as a time, and not worry about things that are going to be due in a month or something.
Right. Well, that's good. Time management, that's a skill that the earlier you learn it, the better off you'll be in the long run, be it academically or just in your professional life. Once you leave the university, there's an empty frame for Megan Kapsiak. So the Purple Eagles certainly have responded here quite well. Niagara with, 182 up, a chance to finish at 212. Bree Thurston, talk a little bit about Bree. She's in that anchor spot.
Yeah, she's pretty good at making her shots and filling frames, and she just does a great job overall.
That's great pin action there. I just have a feeling that the Purple Eagle is going to try and use this 10th frame as a springboard into securing this this coveted second point. Niagara already winning the first point of this match. In lane 31, there you see Olivia Corbett looks back at the 2 pins standing. So here is Brianna Thurston to finish things off. The strong Western New York contingent here on the team. Talk about the importance of Coach Walsh being able to recruit locally. We know Western New York, a hotbed for bowling.
Yeah, it's definitely great that there's a really good program here, so people can come and bowl for college that live locally, and then you can have all your family come and just be home locally. Yeah,
good crowd here. Inside Classic Lanes is another strike here in this 10th frame for Brianna Thurston. She is not done yet. Has her sights set on that 212 as a team collectively. The wheels have really fallen off for Juville. They will just have to flush this one. They'll have to do some work to crack 100. So how about that dynamic of, I'm only going to impact this 20% of this game because I'm bowling in 2 of the 10 frames, if you will. Things have gone awry here for Juville. How do you try and right the ship if you're in that kind of a rut that they're in? They're not going to reach 100.
You just have to keep staying in there mentally tough and make your spares and just hope pins fall in your favor if you're on a pace like that. But there's always next game to make up pins.
Right, and I guess the analogy that every pin matters, because that's what it is for these 5 games in this Baker scoring here for point number 2 to be decided, and that one a little bit of a late break, but 8 fall for Juville. But Niagara, who had trailed coming into this third game, the Purple Eagles now starting to flex a little bit of muscle. This has been a great effort. And so that was interesting. So Niagara could switch for that last ball of the 10th frame.
Yeah.
All right, that caught me a little off guard. I'm going to be candid. Taylor Strickland was able to be plugged in. So here we have the final ball here in this third game. And getting one of the two. So finishing off with a 97 are the Saints for the Purple Eagles. 211 is their score. So the tally to the minute. Boy, Niagara really pounces on. They've increased that lead now up by 150 pins. 712 to 562. Sydney, what are some things that, people that, just show up maybe to see the match, what are some things that go on behind the scenes of a Purple Eagles bowling program that you guys hope will, pave the way to success throughout the academic year and hopefully into the national tournament, practice time, camaraderie time away from the alleys? What are you guys looking to build here?
Definitely just keeping the strong dynamic as a team and just a lot of practice, because practice helps in the long run. And I think they're doing a great job at how our practices are and everything that they've been doing so far.
How about the Purple Eagle mascot there? That has made an appearance as we get ready to get rolling with Game 4. We good to keep you on a little bit longer?
Yeah.
You all right? Okay, so leading things off for the Purple Eagles here in Game 4. Paige Herndon, she has been hitting the lead off most of the day and give her 9 out of the 10. That was one where you thinking that looks like it's a buried strike?
Yeah, it looked good from this angle.
Back on the other side, a little bit light on the head pin. Unable to get the full count there. That's Alyssa Mankowski. And then this is interesting, right? A little bit of, in between your first shot and your second shot, some coaching. Is that easy to receive? Is that tough because you're already locked in?
It can be either way. Sometimes the coaches will put pressure on you that you have to make the spare. And
Okay.
That can be a little
Yeah.
tough. But it could be as simple as just a mental note that you have to do something in order to make the spare.
And Paige saw that one slip into the channel, so a little bit of frustration there, an empty frame for the Purple Eagles as we open up the 4th of 5 games here in the Baker scoring system. And trying to pick up the spare, nicely done. That is good work there by Alyssa Mankowski. So a spare up for the Saints. Dana Murata getting ready to go. Now talk a little bit, if you can, about the Mercyhurst. You win the Mercyhurst tournament. The team performs well in the Youngstown State tournament. Talk a little bit about how maybe important a good start to the season was for your club.
It definitely gives confidence towards all the girls and that they are able to compete against all the high-ranked teams, and they definitely are able to compete and win against them.
Saw Purple Eagles ranked 28th when the season began. Mercyhurst was up there. Duquesne was up there. I mean, there's some quality programs that you guys have already tangled with and will continue throughout the Northeast Conference schedule. Dana trying to clean that up, and she does. So the Purple Eagles, after an open first frame, have secured the spare in the second. On the other side for D'Youville, you can see just the 7-pin was knocked down. So building off a spare, they really lost some count. Look out, that one is going in that same spot. So a miscue there by Haley Campanello. Some frustration, I would think, when you get the spare up, but then you clank one for your first ball.
Yeah.
So we'll see how they bounce back. There is the Purple Eagles on lane 31, and how about the job by the freshman Kaylin Weber? Smooth release there for Kaylin. Talk a little bit about her ball and her game.
Yeah, I've known her since I was in 7th grade.
Really?
Yeah, she's from locally around here. And she just throws the ball great, and she performs great, and it's just great watching her succeed in her freshman year, and I can't wait to see what she does throughout her college experience.
Yeah, good to have her on Montego Ridge, another local product. Came in the 10th frame in an earlier game, so that didn't seem to rattle her, and there's one that is buried. Emily Brock, a perfect one. It's got to be a good feeling, other than like a 10 that you get no help on, but when you put one right in the pocket, you know.
Yeah.
Just as long as the pins don't betray you, if you put it right in the right spot. There you get a good look as the Saints try and clean it up here in the 3rd frame. That one looks good. Kapsiak able to knock that one down. That's Megan Kapsiak. Now the Purple Eagles trying to build on consecutive strikes in the third and fourth frames. Brianna Thurston. Bree, she really whips that ball. You know, I think about, you can help me with this, I think it was Taylor Strickland, very powerful bowler, obliterating the pins. Then there's others more smooth in the game. Talk about maybe your game. How do you fit in there? Power ball, smoother release, and talk about the differences there, if you can.
So everybody has their own distinct style that just helps them better, like, bowl, and each style works better on each pattern that we bowl on. So based on this pattern, I would say people with more of a stronger, like in people that can throw it harder will do better on this pattern just because of where you have to throw it.
Okay. Trying to get the split, but unable to do so, but taking care of the two pins, and talked with Dr. Colley about it, and Simon Gray. In this type setup, if you've got a split like that that you're probably not going to get, is the mindset, I'm going to get two. I'm going to get as many as I can here. I'm not going to put one in between because I got a little bit too aggressive. Is it really an every pin matters mentality as a bowler?
In most cases, yes. Sometimes you do have to sacrifice and go for the split because you might need that to win, but most of the time it is get as many pins as you can.
Watch this replay. Here's Paige going to turn around, and yes, full arms up. Paige turned in within a little bit of a run, the Virginia native. But that was very solidly done. Purple Eagles with 3 strikes in the 6 frames, and Niagara beginning to pad their lead as Juville has run into some trouble here. In the 5th frame, 3 on the first ball as Dana Murata gets ready for the Purple Eagles. There you see from our roving camera. There's Dana's release. 8 solid pins. We heard about, I was at practice yesterday letting people know that there was going to be the event stream. Talk a little bit about how the team took that information, extra nerves, excitedness. What was it like around the team this morning as we saw the cameras getting set up and everything?
It was definitely, they were all excited, but they were nervous that they were going to be filmed. But I think it's a good experience for them to get this experience of being filmed because you never know what might happen in the future.
Totally right. You hope you're in a host of these come the spring semester. Dana able to get that 2 on the left-hand side. 4-7, I think, right? Was what that was? That much?
Yep.
I know you're righty, right? But that 4-7, so for you guys, 6-10, is that on the right-hand release a little bit tougher when you have to almost throw it straight?
I think it's a lot easier because you shoot them a lot more just because of the way you throw the ball.
Okay.
You're more likely to leave a 10-pin more than a 7-pin if you're a lefty.
Interesting, okay.
So it's definitely a little bit easier.
Stepping up and burying another strike. That is Kaylin Weber, and look at your teammates here. They are really putting it on. Duville here in this 4th of 5 games. The Baker scoring system, good-looking ball there, but just right on the head pin, really, for Campanello. She'll have some work to do, trying to bounce back from a rough frame last time out. So looking at the scoreboard, the Purple Eagles, 124 with a strike up in the 8th. And at best, the Saints will have 67 in the 6th. So again, Niagara trying to run and hide. Here is M. And a little bit of a wiggle there, and she will have a split. This an opportunity to just get the 2. Right?
Yeah, if I was in their position, I would just go for the 2.
On the other side, just sliding that one past. You can see that Haley Campanello just talking to herself. How do you pull yourself out of a rut? Maybe, and we're not just picking on Haley here. It's just she was the last one to release the ball. But if you find yourself in a spot where you've had a couple opens in a row, what's the approach to get out of that?
It's definitely hard, but I always think just going back to basics and just throwing the ball and just doing what I normally do and just hoping that I can find something and get out of my head.
Okay. Block out what is preceded and just build forward.
Yeah.
Alrighty, there you get a good look at the 10 pins that, well, the Saints are going to try and knock down right here on lane 32, but that one off the mark a little bit. That one slides past. That is Megan Kapsiak. So she had that's an interesting lead, right? It's not a very frequent lead right there.
Yeah, you don't leave that much.
Well, here is Bree Purple Eagles already in the 10th frame. Going on an open, so 182 would be as high as they could get. There's 1/3 of the way there. How about the pressure of being not necessarily in this game right now, but in the anchor chair?
There's definitely a lot of pressure because if you need a strike to win, you need a strike to
Right.
win. But I think she does a great job as anchor, and she's a really good asset to the team.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And that is, maybe it's not for everyone, right? And maybe not everyone can be in that spot. I can't tell who would or who would not succeed in it, but certainly Bree certainly seems to thrive in that spot. Here she is again, folks. You get a look at her. Already a spare up in the 10th. It is just bookkeeping now to see how many pins Niagara's going to win by that one. A little bit high, but got the good pin action. And we will see if they will let Bree, right? Bree had 2 last game, and then they had the substitution for her. There you saw that look of a little bit of relief, knowing that she got some good pin action. And on the other side, that's Olivia Corbett, who has 2 remaining. So a chance here for Niagara. They may win this one by close to 100 pins. They can get 182. On the other side for the Saints, 78 with their score in the 8th with work to be done. And there is Bree's release, going to come right into focus, went Brooklyn side and left 1. So 181. When we talk about getting out of a rut on the other side, when everyone is firing well, talk about how that success can be contagious.
Yeah, it definitely brings an excitement to the team, and you just all perform well with your energies up, and it's just a great thing.
How about competition between your teammates? I was talking to Coach Walsh that, we don't necessarily know who our 5 that are going to play in the opening game is, and it's, I assume, good, healthy competition to try and bring, the best to the game when it really matters. Talk about that competition within the teammates.
It's just always like you want to do your best, and if there's someone doing better than you just have to cheer them on because you know they are doing better than you and they will be able to help the team.
We are just about ready to wrap up here this 4th game. Trying to clean up a spare here for the Saints. Juva with a chance they may slip under 100, and they will. Their final tally 95 as Michaela Passer finishes that one up. So that will do it here in game 4. 181 to 95 is the score in that one. So folks, we're going to take a timeout. When we come back, we will have the 5th game of the Baker scoring system. Boy, we appreciate the time by Sydney Skimmer. Sydney, thanks so much for visiting with us. We appreciate it. We'll let you rejoin your teammates. All right, folks, quick timeout. We'll be back with more after this. This is NCAA Women's Bowling right here on the YouTube channel for Niagara University. And we welcome you back to Classic Lanes, Game 5 of the Baker Scoring System 5-game match here in point number 2 being contested, just underway. The Purple Eagles have started quickly. Our break was intended to be short and maybe only miss a frame, while Niagara, with the spare and 2 strikes, are already bowling the 4th frame. And that was Emily Brock, who just got 8 pins on her side, and very pleased to be joined now by Sue Petronsky from Niagara University Athletics Administration. Sue, I don't want to mess up your title. Give me your title.
I am the Deputy Athletic Director and Senior Woman Administrator.
Okay. Her business card is very big. Very big. Here's Emily Brock trying to secure a spare. Niagara off to a good start here, and she does. In the 5th game in this Baker Scoring, which is 5 games in a row. Waiting on updated numbers here as that spare is secured. That is Megan Kapziak. Faster start by the Purple Eagles. This will be Brianna Thurston to get things in her first role here in this 5th game. But Sue, you saw this whole process a little bit. You worked at Medaille, now back here at Niagara, and I know early conversations involved you in talking a little bit about how when the announcement was made about Medaille, just the college closing, and maybe what would happen to the bowling team, and Niagara had been able to extend a hand. Talk a little bit about that process.
Yeah, so I was the AD at Medaille for 3 years and came back to Niagara the year prior to Medaille's closing, and it's definitely something Niagara had looked at previously. Did a little bit of research of what it would cost to add a team, and it just seemed like the right opportunity. We knew there was definitely student athletes that were looking for a home, and made a lot of sense to add this as a new program for Niagara University.
Larry Seabree Thurston able to secure the spare. On the other side, a good work, nearly the same shot, and executed beautifully by Olivia Corbett. So the decision is made to add Niagara. Great visit with Dr. Colley, talking about how it wasn't just, hey, let's shoot an email and secure this thing, meetings upon meetings, and making sure that the transition was very smooth. Talk about how important it was. If you think about Medaille when you were there not long ago, how important it must have been for Medaille to know that this door is swinging wide open.
Yeah, we were lucky to bring Jeff Walsh over as well, and I think that made it really comfortable for the Medaille student athletes to make that transition. They were able to keep their schedule intact pretty much from the tournaments they're used to playing in. Practicing, competing at Classic Lanes here is also where they competed for Medaille. So I think the transition, there was a lot of things that went really smoothly because of the connections that were able to be made.
You saw Michaela Passer there with 9 and a wiggle. Couldn't quite get that 9-pin to drop. She will try and secure the spare right here, but unable to do so. You can tell when the bowlers, when they stay in that release and they haven't started walking back yet, that they may see the trouble is afoot. Talk a little bit, if you can now, Sue, with the team coming to Niagara, kind of the energy around campus, knowing that, hey, there's a new club in town, as Paige sees that one slip by, so an empty frame for Paige, but hey, there's another team to support. It's the Purple Eagles women's bowling team.
Yeah, people are really excited at Niagara about our latest edition, and I know one of the first questions they had is, are we going to be selling bowling shirts? Everybody was curious what the bowling shirts were going to look like, and it's definitely
not the shoes?
Not the shoes, definitely the shirts, and Coach Wells was talking about maybe doing that as a fundraiser for the team. To start be out there selling some bowling shirts.
Simon was talking about Ad Pro Sports, Legends now coming in and trying to design the right shirt, and boy, they look good, and I'm sure they would be a hit on campus. And here's Dana Murata with a smooth release. She will secure 7 of the 10 pins, but that's really good to hear that the campus community and the athletics community open arms to welcome in the formerly Medaille Bowling Club, now the Niagara Purple Eagles, as that spare is secured. Good work there by Alyssa Mankowski. But this is a quality program, too. Like, this isn't just, hey, we're glad to have it. This is a chance to win championships.
Yeah, bowling's a unique situation, I don't know if you talked about this already on the broadcast, where it's an open division, so divisions 1, 2, and 3 all compete for a national championship together. So they're used to playing the Nebraskas of the world and some of the NCAA tournament appearances that they've had already.
Yeah, that was an education for me. I did find that out during the week, and I was just wondering how that happens, and then we play them again, and I think it was the Youngstown State tournament, and you know, you never know who you're going to be opposite, but Jeff Walsh was telling me that, you know, first and foremost, Todd, our opponent is the pins. You know, knock down as many of those as you can, and we'll add them up and figure it out. Niagara, again, getting rolling here, off to a good start. This is a much closer game, though. 111 for the Purple Eagles with a spare up in the 7th, so 111 in the 6th with a spare up versus 87 in the 6th, and still trying to finish off the spare are the Saints. There's Kaylin Weber. Her release, and gets good pin action there to get 8 down. So 129 is the number put up by the Purple Eagles. Back come the Saints, and Campanello unable to finish there. So an empty frame. So 94 in the 7th for Deauville. And Niagara at 129 in the 7th, working at it here in the 8th. Talked a bit during the broadcast about local bowlers. Here is Kaylin Weber, a great example. Talk about the fruitful recruiting. This is fertile ground here in Western New York.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's certainly bowling pockets throughout the nation. When Coach Walsh has done a nice job in his own backyard, there's a huge amount of talent in Western New York, and then you'll see, you know, Wisconsin, Chicago area. It's really popular in New Jersey, so it definitely has its pockets throughout the nation where he's done a nice job of recruiting.
Now, as he tells the story moving forward, it's not Madai that he's selling, but the sentence begins or ends with Niagara University, which already has some good cachet across the NCAA athletics landscape. So I'm sure that will also help tell the tale as Emily Brock releases one. Is she going to get a help? And neither the 7-10. I can confidently say I've never picked that up. How much of a bowler are you, Sue?
I am not very good at all, Todd. It is not one of my better attributes.
So Niagara staring an empty frame in the face, and there is a strike buried right in the pocket. Megan Kapsiak.
Yeah, I had never worked at a college that had bowling until Madai, so I had a big learning curve when I started.
So Kapsiak, one of the underclassmen, one of just 2 on the 6-person roster that Deauville is working with here today. Summer Sega is a freshman, Kapsiak a sophomore, and then 4 juniors. This is a good squad that Sue Jeziorski has put together. There is Emily now giving it a look, but just takes care of the 7-pin. That's a good reaction, right? The girls are having fun. Yeah, the ladies.
I've always said bowling would be a fascinating study on body language, because usually right when they turn around, you can tell what kind of shot.
Totally right. Totally right. We were talking about that, how, you know, a lot of times they got 1 pin left, they know it's there, they're already turned around. They'll just listen for it. There you see 9 strong, but the 9 pin not falling. So here we go to the 10th. Bree Thurston up for Niagara. Does not have a foundation in the 9th. It was an open 9th. She has been great, though, in this Baker scoring, and there's a solid 9 pin. So 156 plus. So the best Niagara can get here in this game is 176. But they have really done a nice job. Here is the scoreboard currently reads right now 899 for Niagara, 921 for Deauville. I'm not positive that that is 100% accurate, because the Purple Eagles won the last 2 games handily. There's only so much math I can do on a Sunday. There's a lot of bowling here. I also think the atmosphere here is good, not just from the fans of both clubs, but a lot of bowling going on to our left. Here is Bree trying to pick that up, and she does. So if that scoreboard is right, this is really close. Into the 10th we go for the Saints. Building off a spare in the 9th. That one right in the pocket, and a full allotment. Michaela Passerb in the anchor chair delivers that strike. Now for the Purple Eagles, second time we've seen this in this Baker scoring matchup here for point number 2. The Purple Eagles will, it looks as though they'll go to Taylor Strickland. Taylor was up. And there's one ball remaining in this game for Niagara. So not sure if Coach Walsh was maybe doing some last-second math. There's another roll by the Saints and just a 9-10. I thought that was another strike waiting to happen.
Yeah, who's in this 5 spot for you in the Baker scoring? It's so important.
Okay. Here is Taylor. 9 and a wiggle. So the Purple Eagles will finish up game 5 here in this Baker scoring system. On the other side, looking at lane 32, and Passerb able to get that final pin. So we are going to take a timeout. 175 to 154. The Purple Eagles win this 5th game. But we're going to take a quick timeout. So, folks, we will be back with the final tally here. Timeout, more to come.
Got a chance, so Christy, let's take it away.
He'll be over.
And we welcome you back to Classic Lanes. My name is Todd Callan, still joined by Sue Petronsky from Niagara University Athletics Administration. And Sue, we had other people do the math for us, which was good. But the Purple Eagles did secure that second point. The score we were looking at was the total accumulated pins for the day, not as important as what happened in those 5 games for the Baker scoring system. So as we had thought, it was certainly more lopsided in Niagara's favor. Niagara has secured the second point to lead this match 2-0 by the final tally of 878 to 642. You've been an athlete. Talk a little bit about now on the Duville side. They kind of got it handed to them. They kind of got blown out there. But now with everybody 0-0 at stake, point number 3.
Yeah. With the new Baker game, though, too, as a coach, you're hoping to get them rallied and refocused, right? You're starting back at 0, and you got to put, what the day has brought to you up to this point previously. Just let it go. Now you're refocused on a new Baker set here.
So for the Purple Eagles, it was a spare by Dana Murata. She is in the leadoff spot. Paige Snook now up with 5 pins down. She's on lane 31. There you get a look at Paige. Going after a full complement of pins to the left, and they're all disappearing now. So back-to-back spares for the Purple Eagles. On the other side for Duville, it was an open first frame. And now trying to clean up the final 4, but that will slide by, and that's maybe the risk you take. A little risk-reward right there, as it was a miss. So another empty frame. Megan Kapsiak unable to knock that down. It's either get all 4 if you can hit it right there, or it slid by. Here's Emily Brock for the Purple Eagles. That one goes a little bit to the Brooklyn side. We had a quick visit with Purple Eagles assistant coach Peggy Kuhn, and Sushi told us that now it's kind of bowling in transition, if you will. The oil moving around on the lanes, and the girls, they're changing their where they start their approach.
Yeah, and that's something, obviously as amateur bowlers, I have no idea, right? I'm not sure that affects my game.
You should definitely use that next time you go bowling. What's the oil dispersion at this point in the day?
I just try to keep it out of the gutter.
That one is going to slip past, I think. Yes, Emily, you can see the look on her face. That one just the release point, not ideal. Now on the other side, trying to clean up that spare, and there it is. Good work. So a spare right there secured by Alyssa Mankowski. Now for the other side for the Purple Eagles, freshman Kaylin Weber. Niagara with 43 is their score up in the 3rd frame, not building off of any mark. And there's 9 solid. Sue, that looked to me like that was going to be a strike. I think Kaylin thought so also.
Yeah, talking to Coach Walsh previously, he always talks about the importance of just not leaving frames open, right? If you can't get that strike right out of the gate, just pick up the spare, and that's how you win contests, is just not having those open frames.
Olivia Corbett gets 8. She's got 2 left. Little baby split for Corbett on lane 32, but first Kaylin Weber. Kaylin trying to prevent the open frame, and she does so. That's a great point. You can see how important it is. Somebody gets a strike, you got 20 pins just like that. But the empty frame certainly bites into that. A chance at the split, but unable to get it. Just hit that 6-pin more head on than she wanted, did Olivia Corbett. So here we go. Now the Saints will step up to the line. It's the 5th frame for the Saints. That That's a good ball, and getting the full compliment, a little bit of a look towards the heavens there for Michaela Passer. I guess if you're not in the neighborhood, you're not going to get that kind of pin action. Niagara trying to respond, and 9 strong there for the Purple Eagles. That was Taylor Strickland. Talk about that pin action, Sue, on lane 32. That was tremendous.
Yeah, I got a little help there.
So 42 in the fourth for the Saints, 62 in the fourth for the Purple Eagles. But Uville does have a strike up, trying to build on that, and there's another back-to-back strikes for the Saints. Summer Sega, the freshman. There's Strickland, and that one just slides by. So Niagara, the door immediately opened with an empty frame, and if the Saints can strike on this ball, they will have the lead in the fifth frame, 72-71, and they would really be rolling. There you see Coach Jeziorski talking to her player, going over some things. They'll have to wait now as we focus in on Dana Murata. Murata up on lane 31. The lefty with the release, and that one takes care of 7.
Yeah, Coach Peggy Kuhn talked to us a little bit about the advantages of being a lefty. Those oil patterns don't change as much throughout the course of the contest when you only have one lefty out there.
So some last-minute instruction there to Megan Kapsiak, and no, that's certainly not what Megan nor her coach Sue Jeziorski was looking for as they talk it over. She's got 5 left. And now here we go for Dana. That one's going to have to hurry, and it does. Well, a little body language. You talked about the body English, the body language, and Dana with a little extra emphasis there to get all 3 of those down.
Sometimes that lean helps a little.
You have to think so. Well, here we go. It's interesting, right? The scoreboard says 6 pins had fallen. In fact, just 5. 5 are remaining. That means one probably got marked off its spot a little bit. That ball will have to hurry, and they leave 1. So an empty frame. 87 in the 6th for the Saints. The Purple Eagles 81 plus this ball in the 6th. And Niagara, we are sitting on a deadlocked game to this point. For Niagara, some work still to be done for Paige Snook. A lot of times you'll see the wrist wraps. Here's a little bit of an elbow guard on Paige, and boy, how many games you wonder these ladies bowl in a season? It's practices and matches.
Yeah, I think about the amount of stress on your elbow, your wrist. These are long days.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Able to pick it up. Good work there by Paige. She chants purple. Her teammates respond with Eagles. That one just slipping by the head pin, courtesy of Alyssa Mankowski. So here we go. Emily Brock now. Working on a spare. Put up by her teammate. That one looks good, and it'll take all 10 pins with her. So this is pretty wild here. First broadcast, Sue. We appreciate you being a part of it. This is probably an exciting day for NU.
Yeah, the students are so excited. I think they've really enjoyed their experience so far at Niagara, and we're excited for this opening home match.
Yeah, it really is cool. Here is a Western New York native, Kaylin Weber. Ceiling awfully high for this freshman. That one buried in the pocket, but the 10 didn't move. This is the first of 5 games again, folks, as point number 3 up for grabs in this Baker scoring system. And it's not like with Niagara having won the first 2, they can just put their feet up, right? You want to try and accumulate as many points as you can, as everything counts towards NCAAs and getting that automatic bid, seeding. And there is Kaylin again with the ball change. Very confidently able to get that one.
Yeah, one of the exciting things with Niagara joining the NEC for bowling is it's a conference last year that received 2 bids to the NCAA tournament. So anytime that you can be part of a conference that has that chance, it's really exciting.
That is excellent. Do you know off the top of your head how many teams make it to the? Yeah, I did not look that up. I know that the Purple Eagles preseason picked 28th in the country. Coach Walsh and Coach Kuhn have taken the last 2 clubs at Medaille, 2022 and 2023. Again, the national tournament in the spring semester. So Niagara trying to ride the crest of that 2 straight back-to-back appearances, hoping for another. And there's a ball that does clip the head pin, but for Taylor Strickland, she's got some work left to do. So it is a long season, this one that bookends both semesters. So some encouragement from the sideline there. You can even hear it through the headset there. Michaela Passer with a really good ball. Got just 9 pins. Was not rewarded by seeing that 7-pin fall, but her coaching staff, great shot. I would think this also like maybe a little bit like golf, a mental game when you're up there. You're the only one on the line. Good job there, cleaning that one up.
Yeah, bowling's considered a winter sport by the NCAA, but they're allowed to start October 1st. But you'll see most teams take a pretty large break end of December, January.
All right, thank you for that. Okay, I did not know exactly when a break would be in there. Good. I mean, thankful. We were talking with Sydney Skimmer about the demands of being a student athlete and how you have to do that. So a little break. Also, that's probably coincides a little bit with the semester break. I was going to say they take a deep breath, and just as I was ready to say that, a deep breath taken on the line for the next Purple Eagle bowler. Niagara here getting ready to go in the 10th frame. 143 is the score put up by the Saints. Niagara sitting at 152 with a spare up. So it is bookkeeping now, but again, every pin matters, so Niagara going to try and get a bigger lead. Taylor Strickland did not appear thrilled with that result. Knowing that an extra shot awaits. In fact, no, that will be it. That's a 159 final for the Purple Eagles. So, Sue, a good start here for Niagara as they try to secure that 3rd point. Up by 16 going into game 2. We will see if either coaching staff makes any adjustments to the lineup. And it's certainly not anything where the coaches, they can do all their work and then just put their feet up. They are constantly monitoring how the ladies are bowling.
Yeah, do you know when they substitute in? Can the original player go back in?
Oh, great question. I do not know the answer to that. There's a strike to open things up for D'Youville. Summer Sega able to get good pin action. That's an interesting question because we've seen it in the 10th frame where Kaylin had checked in earlier in a game that she didn't start. Likewise for Strickland. Here's Murata with that big left break, and they answer the strike by the Saints. Dana Murata does likewise. So the team's coming out throwing haymakers to get things going here in game 2 and make it another strike. That time it's Kapsiak. Well, here we go. Now the math is easier. Everything by 10. So Niagara opens up game 2 here with a 16-point lead in the Baker scoring system. There's a release ball in the way. That'll have to hurry, and 9 strong. No extra pin action for Paige Snook. She'll have to clean up that 10 pin. On the other side, that ball a little bit light. A little light on the head pin for Alyssa Mankowski. Right in front of us, one of the Purple Eagles getting some work in. That is Mackenzie Smith. Those are just a little bit off camera. You see on lane 35. That is not the general public bowling. The Purple Eagles have it pretty much locked down. What do you say, from lane 20 over?
Yeah, it gives them some practice lanes.
Paige Snook able to secure that spare. Back to work, Mankowski for the spare. No. Alyssa Mankowski gets 2 of the 3, so that will give you an update. 55 in the 3rd frame for the Saints. Smooth release there by Emily. That one head on with the head pin. Sue, I thought it was exciting that Monty, Purple Eagle mascot, able to make an appearance.
Yes, the bowlers that was one of their requests
Really?
for today. They were very inquiring whether Monty would be available or not, so I'm sure they were excited to see Monty.
Oh, fantastic. See, there's been good stories from Simon and Dr. Colley and Sydney and yourself about, how much they want to quickly become part of the fiber of Niagara University.
Yep, I think like anything new, I think, there were some nerves in the beginning, starting fresh at a new school for many of them, and I believe they've quickly acclimated to Mount Eagle Ridge.
No doubt about it. You certainly do open campus right away with 6, 7, 8 close friends, right? When you're part of a team. Certainly some of the bigger clubs at Niagara can preach that. 20-plus teammates some have, and that's good. This bowling team here for the Purple Eagles.
Yep, and quite a few of them live together in the residence halls as well.
Okay. Kaylin Weber, that'll have to hurry. Didn't quite come up. 6 for Kaylin, a little light on the head pin. There you get a look on the other side. This lane 31 for the Saints. Powering through, but 8 pins secured that time. Knocked down by Michaela Passer. Michaela was in the anchor chair in the first segment of Baker's scoring game. How about that pickup by Kaylin? That not easy unless you put the ball right in that perfect spot. She knew it. There was one lone soldier back there that I thought might have remained standing. Passer for the spare, no. And there's a look that says I left one up on the lane. So an opportunity here for the Purple Eagles after a big start by the Saints, who they opened up strike. But since then, a couple of miscues. 3 open frames in a row. On the other side, the Purple Eagles looking to build, but first on lane 31, ball away, and that is a strike for Summer Sega. Niagara looking to respond. This, I believe, is Strickland. 9 strong for Taylor. So looking at the scoring, 73 in the 5th for the Saints with a strike up in the 6th for the Purple Eagles, 74 in the 4th. But Niagara trying to secure the spare. So the Purple Eagles with a bit of an edge, but still work to do. All eyes now on Paige. And she's got it.
All right, Dana, right here. Yeah, it was way better shot.
I thought direction was
So, Sue, I was talking with Simon about, there's a great pin action for the Saints, and they answer Kapziak. We're talking about kind of the convergence here of fall sports and winter sports, and we'll have to check the out-of-town scoreboard, see if we can get anything on women's soccer right at Mount St. Mary's. They are in Emmitsburg.
Looks like it's still 0-0 with no score.
Okay. There's a strike from Murata. Second half, you said, from Emmitsburg, Maryland. Okay. Good job there by Dana. Purple Eagles trying to get up on near 200 pace in this game. 8 pins tallied by Alyssa Mankowski. Niagara, 16-pin edge, entering here the second of 5 in the Baker scoring system. Sue, I like that placard, Niagara Bowling, NCAA Division I. Just let people know this is their home lanes. That ball spinning into the pocket and buried. You could tell that is talons, and then the teammates, what'd they say, up?
Yeah, talons up.
Talons up. Love it. Paige Schnook buried that strike.
Sure, that was inspired by Monty.
As many things are. inspired by Monty. Talon's the place for you to catch some good collegiate hockey this coming up weekend. The 3rd and 4th already. It will be November on Wednesday, but the Air Force Academy Falcons will be the opponent for Jason Lammer's club. Good seats still left in the premier seating inside Talon's. 3rd and the 4th. Puck drop 7 p.m. each night. A release there by Emily Brock, the Orchard Park native, bowled for the Quakers. She left half of them still standing. There's a ball right in the pocket, and there's a strike for Olivia Corbett. This has been back and forth. I love this Baker scoring system, right?
Yeah, it's definitely different to watch.
You got to pick your teammate up. Maybe your teammate picks you up. Can't be down, can't sulk. Going for the other half now. That one looks good and buries it. Good job there by Em to clean that up.
I wonder how tough it is, though, too, to get in a rhythm. Like if you're bowling well,
very tough.
And then you've got to wait that much longer till the next time you get to throw a ball again.
Right. I think it's no fluke that they do the more traditional thing first. For the first point was 5 bowlers bowling an entire game. Lane 31, I thought they were going to see another strike, but 9 of the 10 fell. And you got to look at it on the replay. Nothing knocking down that 7 pin here. Here's Weber. Brooklyn side, and she got it. A sheepish look on Kayla as if say, well, you know, Brooklyn side. Did she turn not know? She did not know that was going to be a strike. We talked about how when they turn with confidence, as you saw there by Michaela Passer, I think somebody had to let the freshman know you got all 10.
Yep, I don't think I heard the talons. Talons up.
There was,
didn't know.
There was no talons up. That is a big strike. Now you're 159 in the 8th with a strike up in the 9th. For the Saints, I guess the highest they can get is 167. So Niagara already with 169 with the 10th frame to come, and it will be a finishing strike for Passer. So 167 for D'Youville here in game number 2. For the Purple Eagles. Trying to finish with a flourish here in the 10th. There's one. Strickland buries that one. Talons up. Good look at this, Sue.
Good shot.
Buries all 10 pins. So Niagara trying to pad their lead. What will they be at? They can get as high as 219. If Taylor can strike out. Niagara does not have an open frame in this game. That is solid. Just the point you were making. Get the spares. They have 4 spares. Another strike ball. They have that 9-pin surrounded, but nothing knocking it over. So the final shot here. We're going to take a break after this last release. When we come back, we'll bring you up to date on the scores. They don't wait very long here, though, to get game number 3 underway, so this will be a quick timeout. And Niagara, I believe, are going to go make a move here. Looks as though Mackenzie Smith is going to step up and try and complete this spare. Well, Sue, we certainly appreciate you dropping by. This has been great.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. I appreciate your insight, and boy, your pivotal role in getting Madai to Niagara, and a little nudge.
Got it.
So the Purple Eagles win that one, and we will get the tally as we enter game 3. Quick timeout. More to come after this break. You've got it on YouTube and the Purple Eagles channel. And we welcome you back to Classic Lanes. My name is Todd Callan, now joined by Christine Walsh. Christine, the official here for today's dual match. Christine, thank you so much for stopping by. And so far, from my novice view, it seems like things are going pretty smoothly.
Oh.
How are things going out there?
Oh, very, very smoothly. Sorry, this is a little bit hard to get used to.
Okay.
Yeah, these dual matches are fairly easy to officiate as far as as I'm concerned. They run themselves for the most part. I'm here to make sure that rules are followed and that scores are correct and calculated properly and stuff like that. So when you have large tournaments with large amounts of teams, you could have sometimes 20 teams in a tournament, and then you have multiple officials at that type of situation. But
Where you would have responsibility for a couple of lanes. These 3 lanes are yours.
Yep,
Something
divide
like
and
that.
conquer.
Divide and conquer, love it. So this has been exciting. Of course, your husband, the head coach for the Purple Eagles, talking about Jeff Walsh, and maybe if you can a little bit. And folks, we should say both coaches agreed that Christine can do that. She's a sanctioned bowling official, so nothing wrong there. But talk a little bit about the excitement that Jeff has around the program coming to Niagara.
Oh, absolutely. Last spring, with everything going on with his former school, Madai University, and sudden closing of that school, the program was kind of up in the air. And when we found out that Niagara was interested in kind of opening their own program, and had been talks previous, but the timing was perfect, and it was a blessing, and the girls were so excited, and obviously Jeff was excited, and Peggy as well, as assistant coach. It was wonderful, and it's been a seamless transition coming to the Niagara, and they've been welcoming and so supportive.
We visited with the Niagara Athletics Director Simon Gray, also the Executive Vice President, Dr. Debbie Colley, and Debbie was certainly integral in helping get the programs to come over to Niagara, and she talked about how much work was put in because they didn't want to do this kind of half-hearted. They wanted to be all in, and just by what you said there, Jeff could sense that, couldn't he?
Absolutely. It's so much easier to transition over if you have that support, and how they are so welcoming and wanting to know more about the sport and how it works with NCAA and the rules and what he needs to do to make this program successful.
An empty frame there for Olivia Corbett for the Saints as she left the 9-pin standing. On the other side, Kaylin Weber able to clean it up. So we are underway here in the third of 5 of the games in the Baker scoring system. Niagara enters this third game up by 57 pins. Won the first game by 16, the most recent one by 41. And off her mark a little bit there was Michaela Passerb, as that one slid well past the head pin. So the scoring, Niagara with a spare up in the fourth, 42 through 3 frames. On the other side for Juville, 54 through 4 frames. And Passerb has some work ahead of her, and there's one right into the pocket, but 9 there on the ball from Strickland. So I did notice, because we chatted before the match, would you be able to come up, would you not? You're like, sometimes I don't have much. You were called into action. They summoned you. What did you have to take care of? It was earlier in the match.
Earlier in the match, yes.
Scoring?
Scoring. A lot of it is scoring. If the scoring machine is not functioning properly, or if it's not in the right mode, so to speak. First match was traditional, which is your 5 players that each bowl a full game.
Right.
And then we transitioned over to Baker total pinfall. So in doing that, the machine needs to make sure that it's set up properly to calculate that. So, and it didn't do that automatically. I had to make sure I talk with our front desk folks, which are wonderful here at Classic.
Okay.
They are great to work with, and anything we need, you just explain to them, and they fix it in a jiffy. So
Excellent. Passerb had an open frame there. So an opportunity here for the Purple Eagles. Dana Murata, the lefty. That has left a little bit of a picket fence there. 5 left for her. So scoring could be. One of the questions we had as we've been having some guests come in and call the action with me if you make a substitution where you bring somebody else in, can that, I'll say starter, can the person that started that game go back in, or once you're out, you're out?
They can go back in another game in this match. So we're speaking of Baker total pinfall.
Right.
If they come out, let's say in the first game of that match, you can pull them back in later on in the third or fourth.
Okay, but they can't bowl the ninth frame if they were pulled in the third.
Correct.
Okay. All right, we weren't sure. Kind of going on the fly here. We appreciate that insight.
Yep, and there are some strict rules regarding going to the practice pair. There is a pair of lanes on each side where the bowlers who are not in play can take 8 shots per match.
8 shots, okay, because we noticed that there were some Purple Eagles up, and it makes sense, right? You can't be like, okay, your last time you rolled your ball was 12:30, and now it's 2:30, and you got to go back in there.
That's right.
But 8, not a ton of balls to get yourself back in it, but more than a couple.
Yeah, enough to get yourself loose and also get yourself somewhat lined up, because the same oil pattern is on that practice pair. Mind you, it's not broken down the same, but at least it gets you, gets you in motion.
Acclimated.
Right.
There's a strike well positioned ball there. You got to look at the replay. So a strike put up by the Saints. 82 in the 6th for Duville. For the Purple Eagles, 84 in the 6th. So this one awfully tight. And there is Paige Snook trying to clean up her 7-pin. And that'll have to hang on, and it does. Now, is it a big bowling family, the Walsh family? Did you get out there?
Yes, I am jokingly known as the Walsh that nobody knows bowls.
That's excellent.
Because I don't bowl tournaments particularly. I bowl league with my husband, but my daughter is an accomplished bowler and is also a Division I coach.
Really? Okay, where's she doing that?
She's at Bryant University in Rhode Island.
Sure, okay.
So our family has always been about bowling. That's where my husband and I met and started dating. So
oh, great.
It's always been about that. So she has been a bowler since she's been 4. And she has joined the Professional Women's Bowlers Tour, so she's doing that a couple times, just kind of get her feet wet. But that's our. And Jeff just joined the Senior PBA Tour this past summer as well.
Okay, exciting! Wow, that is great here. Alyssa Mankowski just saw her attempt at a spare slide by. So an empty frame for the Saints, who jumped out to an early lead. They are leaving the door open for the Purple Eagles. Mackenzie Smith now up on the line, trying to get the final 3 and unable to do so. So an empty frame there for the Purple Eagles. Niagara with 110 up in the 8th. And how about this? Duville 110 up in the 8th. So a couple of frames to find out who's going to out-tally the other. And there is a strike for the Saints. Olivia Corbett. We'll see how the Purple Eagles respond with Kaylin Weber. What could be some other things that the official would have to stay on top of? What other things do you have your antenna up for?
There is what we call a ball check. Each team has to provide a listing of all of the equipment that they have in their arsenal, so to speak.
Okay.
And they provide that to the official before competition starts. So if there is a ball that is not on the list, and it's very strict because they ask for serial numbers that are on the balls. So if there's a ball that is not on the list that they are used in competition, then there's infractions that take place.
Pardon me, that reaction picking up the split. Go ahead. All right, carry on.
Totally warranted reaction. But that's just another thing that we do. We make sure that just everything runs smoothly, that time goes, you stay in pace.
Okay.
You have, especially when you have large tournaments, and if you have a team that is bowling slower than the other tournaments, it holds the whole process up. So that's kind of part of what an official does as well.
Okay, now there does appear to be a bit of a stoppage here, and I think just because we're in the 10th frame and they are just making sure that everything is good to go. So we are really at a point here. Niagara with a spare up in the 9th. Again, 110 for the Purple Eagles through 8. 110 for the Saints through 8. Duville has already struck in the 9th. and they have 7 pins already knocked down in the 10th. So is that a matter of, or my guess is that they're saying, all right, my opponent needs to catch up. We want Niagara to go next so they can, do you see what you need to do? Or
Yeah, so sometimes it's a strategy.
Yeah.
When you're bowling Baker, you don't have to be in the same frame.
There's a big strike.
If you're in the same game, let's see, the left lane is bowling strikes, they can go ahead.
Right.
And they can keep going. So they can finish their game before the right lane finishes, and that's totally fine within the rules. And sometimes you might want to see what's going to happen. If it's very close,
Right.
we don't encourage them to kind of wait. We want to keep the flow going.
That was interesting, though. They were waiting, and as it turns out, a big miss there in the 10th. So the Saints have finished with 138. The Purple Eagles already with 140 up. They had 130 up and a strike in the first release. So now we go to the second bowl on the way here in the 10th, and 6 pin secured there by Taylor Strickland. So the Purple Eagles will take game 3. It's just a matter of what will the differential be.
Yeah, for that, in this case, when there's a lane breakdown, the other team is kind of encouraged to kind of hold up. That would be the exception. We would like to make sure that the people in the back and the pits are safe, that they don't affect them with throwing a ball down.
Got it. Strickland able to get the final 4, so that is the end of this game, 150 to 138. 150 to 138. The Purple Eagles win that one by 12. Their lead now 69. Christine Walsh, thank you so much for visiting. That was very informative. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
We are going to keep things right here as the Purple Eagles leading it by 69. Quick timeout. More to come in game 4 after this. And we welcome you back to Classic Lanes. My name is Todd Kellen. Game 4 underway here in this Baker scoring 5-game third-point deciding matchup here, and a good spare picked up by Megan Kapsiak. So Kapsiak gets the spare for the Purple Eagles now on lane 32. 8 down, 2 remaining to get. That one will have to hurry and able to secure the spare. That was close, nearly chopping some wood there was Paige Snook. But the spare is registered. And there, how about some good late action? And that was a great look at Alyssa Mankowski can't believe that 8 pins fell. She severely missed her mark, but got good pin action. 34, the score for the Saints in the second frame. For the Purple Eagles, 19 plus the first ball here for Niagara's Mackenzie Smith stepping up to the line. Mackenzie ready to roll. There you get a good look. There's the release, spinning towards the pocket, crossed over a little bit, so some work to be done there. Mackenzie looks over at her teammates as if to say, I wasn't expecting that. I knew I didn't hit it in the right spot, but there's a lot of work to be done. Lane 31 now. Spare attempt, no, just sliding by. So an open frame for Alyssa Mankowski and the Saints. And we'll see it here as it slides to the right of that. I think that was the 3 pin. So let's see what Mackenzie can do here, and knocks down 2 of those 4 that were remaining. So now each team with an open third frame. The Saints up by 10 here as we open frame number 4. Ball on the way and a solid 9 count. That was Olivia Corbett. She buried that one right in the pocket. Well, the 9 pin stood strong, no action. So Niagara down by 10. Kaylin Weber ready to go. Trying to make sure that release hand is dry. The former Bulldog with the release. Good job getting that 10 pin out of there. She's got 8 down, 2 to go. Spare attempt now on lane 31. This is the Saints lane and got it. Olivia Corbett puts up the mark. Getting loose here in front of us, as Christine Walsh told you, they do have some practice frames and practice lanes. A good job there by Weber to secure the spare. Bree Thurston, senior from Madison, Wisconsin, who has not played in this Baker scoring system setup here in this third game of the day. The Baker scoring, second Baker scoring, 7 points there by Michaela Passer. And with our location, we can get a look at this practice lane as Bree looking to work some things out. Right now, all eyes on Taylor Strickland for the Purple Eagles. Taylor shot it away and she buries it. Went on the Brooklyn side, had to hold your breath a little bit. That thing that wiped out the 10 pin. On the other side for the Saints, trying to get the spare. No, they'll leave one, so an opportunity here for the Purple Eagles. An opening as Michaela Passer left one standing. That sound you hear is Bree Thurston burying another strike as her warm-ups continue. Dana Morano on the line for the Purple Eagles, the lefty. And 9 and a wiggle. There you see Dana's a great look. Rooting for that to fall down. Back come the Saints and 8. Our guest last game, Christine Walsh, has jumped up. I believe that they've got some work to do on lane 32. They wiped out the pins. We recall Dana Murata had a 10 pin that she was going to be called on to knock down, but instead the carriage came down and wiped it out. So a bit of a delay here on lane 32. On lane 31, the Saints with 2 pins remaining. This is Summer Sega. Summer after it, and she's got it. Summer, it's been an up and down Sunday afternoon for the freshman. So definitely a delay here as lane 32, again, thinking back to the live shot, there was just a 10 pin remaining for Dana Murata, but there you see the full complement on lane 32. So we'll have a bit of a delay, at least for the Purple Eagles. And now it's a matter of does Deauville want to wait, or are they going to keep on going? They are in the 7th frame. 69 posted in the 5th with a mark in the 6th. And there's 8 pins on that one for Kapsiak. That's Megan Kapsiak, a sophomore. Now Dana's ready to go after that delay, and didn't bother her at all. The lefty able to secure the spare. So another mark for the Purple Eagles. Niagara with just, well, 2 open frames. Forgot about the 9-pin first for the Purple Eagles. Niagara has been chasing since the opening frame. But now with 3 straight marks, chance to take the lead here. 83 plus the count on this first ball will go up in the 6th frame. There's a release ball in the way. That'll have to hurry. It does, and a strike. Bearing the strike, Paige Snook and the Purple Eagles now lead it by 6, 93-87 through 6 frames. Those are the scores up in the 6th frame. The Purple Eagles with a strike up. Trying for the spare, but missing. Just to the side was Kapsiak. So Kapsiak will leave 2 pins standing. 95 in the 7th is the score for the Saints. For the Purple Eagles, they have 93 in the 6th with a strike up in the 7th. Mackenzie Smith on the release. That one gets 9. No action for the 9-pin. Here's Mankowski on the other side, and she buries the strike. So a late run trying to be made here by Deauville. Niagara leading this Baker scoring game by 69 as we entered game 4 of 5, and the spare is completed by Mackenzie Smith. Both teams very accommodating as they have their kind of team area set off a little bit to allow a good clean shot by the cameras. There's a release on 31 and 8 pins knocked down that time. That's Corbett, Olivia Corbett. For the Purple Eagles, Kaylin Weber up. Methodically approaches the line, and 9. No action for that 10-pin. Well, you could see the 6 just went right in the channel, didn't knock down the 10. Back on lane 31, that one's going to slide by. So an open frame here, and the Saints down by 69 entering this 4th game of 5. They have left some openings here, and Niagara with a chance, and Weber with a little nudge of that 10-pin to secure the mark. So here we go, 121 in the 9th for the Saints without a mark. So they're at 121 plus 7 on the first ball. Well, that's Passerb. For the Purple Eagles, 132 posted in the 8th with a spare in the 9th. They can put this away, Taylor Strickland. And at this point, the highest that the Saints can get is 141, and Niagara is sitting at 142 right now. Taylor's release emphatically with a strike. 152 now in the 9th for the Purple Eagles as they try and make the gap just too big to overcome in game 5. And there's a spare, neatly completed there. Good work by Passerb. So she will have one more roll at it here in game 4. Right in front of us, but not in your camera shot. Coach Walsh and assistant coach Peggy Kuhn going over some discussion points as to who will be the lineup for the 5th game. And there is 8 pins on the bonus ball in the 10th for Passerb. So the final tally for Deauville is Taylor Strickland on her release in lane 32, and she's got a strike. 172 and counting for the Purple Eagles. Duville finishes with 139. Well, a chance really now to put a stranglehold on this one. Strickland will roll the final ball here in game 4 of 5. Niagara will pad their lead. How many will they lead by? It has a chance to be more than 100. Actually, it is. They're at 102 right now, plus 102 right now. Strickland trying for a turkey in the 10th. Just left that one well, striking out in the 10th. A little bit of help. There you see the nudge, and down it goes. Strickland able to hang around to see that one happen. 182. So the Purple Eagles now leading by 112. They win that one 182 to 139. So Niagara's lead is 112 coming into the 5th game here. Well, we are coming to you live from Classic Lanes, Purple Eagles' first home match on a new program. Niagara, the bowling team. This is the first year for Niagara bowling, as we talked about throughout the broadcast, as Sega starts out with a strike for Duville. A lot of the bowlers coming over from Medaille College that closed over the summer. There was talk there was going to be a merger with another area institution. That fell through, and well, Medaille was kind of left hanging in the balance, and Niagara and other colleges stepped up. But certainly when it came to the bowling program, Niagara, in addition to taking a bunch of students, also was able to blend in the student athletes from the Medaille women's program and start the Niagara women's bowling program, and back-to-back strikes to open things up here for the Saints. Kapsiak getting great pin action. Now here is Dana Murata for the Purple Eagles, a junior from Hawaii. As mentioned, began her collegiate bowling career at Upper Iowa. Ball on the way, that'll have to hang on, and it does. So a mark for Dana to open things up, and there's another strike for the Saints. 3 in a row to open up this final game. Alyssa Mankowski doing the honors. Who knows if it'll be enough, but what a finish here for the Saints, the 5th and final game. Up next, Olivia Corbett for Duville. First, however, the action on lane 32. Ball after hurry, and it comes up a little bit light on the head pin. That was Paige Snook. Paige able to knock down 8 as she slid past the head pin, though. In your focus now, Olivia Corbett. Her release, going Brooklyn side, 8 down. Matching her jersey number. Well, Niagara needs to pick up this spare. Ball on the way, and she's got it. Boy, what a start for the Saints. If this secured, or if this spare is secured, not. It is not an open frame. But how about 86 through 4 frames for the Saints? The Purple Eagles at 28 plus the first ball tally in lane, or in frame 3. Mackenzie Smith to do the honors. The native of Burlington, Ontario, Canada. There's the release. 8 right there, but 1 hiding behind the next. You got to hit this one straight on to pick up this spare. Oh, here we go, lane 31. There's the release. The Saints and 9. They've had great pin action. That time the beneficiary is Michaela Passerb. Maybe breathing a bit of a sigh of relief. Now for the Purple Eagles. Tough spare attempt here for Mackenzie. And she's got it! So Mackenzie Smith able to get just enough of that pin lurking in the back. And the spare neatly finished there by Passer for the Saints. Again, Niagara entered this final game with a cushion of 112 pins. Here is Weber. Different ball this time on her first shot. She's got 9 with some good pin action. It was that creamsicle orange ball that Kaylin was fashioning earlier in the match. Here is Sega, Summer Sega for the Saints. Look out, that one nearly went into the channel. 3 pins for Sega. That was close. Juvo cannot afford any empty frames if they're going to try and spring the comeback here. Weber knows it. She'll turn around and walk back to be greeted by her teammates. That spare secured. So 99 in the 5th for the Saints. For the Purple Eagles, Niagara with 55 up in the 3rd with a spare up in the 4th. There you get a look at Sega trying to clean this up here. That looks good, and she's got it. Summer burying that for the spare. Wishes she had more count on the first ball, of course. That was coming off of the spare of the frame prior. There's the Purple Eagles release right into the pocket, but 9 knocked down there. That was Strickland. So Taylor goes to get her spare ball. You see her pick it up there, hoist that off-white one. There's a shot on the way in lane 31. 6 knocked down by Kapsiak. The Saints are running out of frames here if they're going to try and come back and steal a point from the Purple Eagles. And just missing there with the spare ball, not living up to its name as Strickland sees that one slide by. So for the Purple Eagles, their score is set right now halfway through. Niagara with a score of 83 through 5 frames. For the Saints, they're sitting at 115. Plus a spare opportunity up. But Dana Murata will go for the Purple Eagles. Kapsiak yielding to Dana. Kapsiak from the Saints, that is. The release, this one needs to hurry. Didn't quite get the head pin, but got good count anyway. 8. That's building off of the spare. Kapsiak trying to do some work here on this one, and she got it. A big ball there. Kapsiak puts up another mark for the Saints here in Game 5, the final game of this afternoon. Murata's going to have to hurry. She got it. Purple Eagles chance. Stay with us after the match. We'll take a brief timeout. We'll be joined by Purple Eagles head coach Jeff Walsh as part of our Combined Insurance postgame show. There's a ball buried right in the pocket by Mankowski. She can't believe that there's still a pin standing. Paige Snook now on lane 32 for the Purple Eagles. Niagara needs to make a run here, building off the spare in the 6th. And Paige leaves a big-time split. 7 have fallen, but work to do. This could get a little dicey, although the Saints were running out of time. This is a big ball here, and that one is going to slide by. Mankowski knew it. So 143 for the Saints through 8. Niagara at 100 through 6. So it just doesn't look like the math will work out for the Saints as Niagara will take advantage of that big cushion entering this 5th game. There you get a look at Snook going after this split, but she'll take the 2 of the 3. So we head to the 9th frame. This is Olivia Corbett. Corbett's on the way, and 9 Put that one right in the pocket. She left the 9-pin. On the other side for the Purple Eagles, Mackenzie Smith. She rolled the third frame, so she will do it in the 8th. 143 to 109. Mackenzie's ball bending towards the pocket, but a little bit light on the head pin, so half down, half standing. Corbett now on lane 31 to complete the spare. And it is on the way, and it is good. So the high point for the Saints this game will be 193. And Niagara already at 109 in the 7th. So the Purple Eagles have secured that third point. They will sweep the match. There's Mackenzie Smith. 2 of the remaining 5. So an empty frame there. Mackenzie not thrilled with how that turned out. And here we are in the 10th for the Saints and an opening strike. Michaela Passard. She finished game 4 strong in the anchor chair. Kaylin Weber for the Purple Eagles. Kaylin's release, bending right towards the pocket, and there goes those 10 pins. So Kaylin with a big ball to set the table here for the Purple Eagles. Back to Passer. Passer, second ball, she got 10 more. Well, they can get as high as 193, can the Saints here in this final game. For the Purple Eagles, the best they can get is 186. Check that, 166. Still got a little bit more math to do. Hang on. Ball on the way. That'll have to hurry. 7. 7 pins knocked down there by Taylor Strickland. So the Saints look as though they are going to win this 5th game, but the Purple Eagles will win that third point, and 3 strikes in the 10th to finish it. Passer doing great work in that final frame. High fives all around with her teammates. They will come up a little bit short. The Purple Eagles, that'll have to hurry. And Niagara leaves one in the final frame of the afternoon. 193 to 144 is the final here in the 5th game. So the Purple Eagles win it. In game 5, they win the third point by 63 pins. And Niagara sweeps the match. Folks, we are going to step aside. When we come back, we'll get rolling with the Combined Insurance postgame show. We'll visit with Niagara head coach Jeff Walsh. Postgame show on the other side of this break. Come right back after this. This is Purple Eagles Bowling on their YouTube channel.
Thanks.
How you doing, Coach? Good. Congratulations. Yeah, you're fine. We're at break. You're good. Watch yourself. A lot of cords there.
Got the lock.
We are going to be on that camera. When you sit down, we'll be on that camera.
Okay.
Yep. I'm not ready yet, though. I'll tell Kyle. All right, so you get the sweep.
What do you want? You want to come back?
Yeah, we'll come back. Jeff and I will talk. We'll Send it to another break. Coach goes back to the team, and then I'll wrap it up. Okay. The final segment won't be long. This will be a few questions. Right, so right there.
Last year, men's went PKs.
Oh, yes. Ready to go? Ready to go? Yep.
And that was Jamie Berry. There, and that was.
Did he? Oh, yeah, after the game.
And we welcome you back inside Classic Lanes. My name is Todd Callan, now joined by Purple Eagles head coach Jeff Walsh. And Coach, first of all, congratulations on the sweep. I thought the team performed awfully well. Before we get to the strikes and spares and misses of it all, just talk a little bit about this day and how exciting it is to have the opening match here, the home match, the dual match against Juville. Talk about your emotions today.
Yeah, for sure. Sorry, I'm fighting my voice a little bit, but yeah, everything was real good. We're super excited to be part of Niagara and to have this opportunity to, kind of showcase what, collegiate bowling looks like, and to have the opportunity to have it live streamed and everything is awesome. I know they were super excited when I told them about it. So.
Yeah, really a solid team effort. I like the way things opened up, but then really when it came to the Baker scoring system, the team being able to lift each other up. Talk about that dynamic when you switch over to Baker.
Yeah, it's a little different. You go from having to bowl a complete team game individually to now working on filling just one frame, per 5 segments. We break it down into 2 segments. So, yeah, it's different for sure. It's a different mindset. But we're pretty good at what we do and how we can make the transition over to it. So,
talk a little bit about the momentum that you guys were able to build by winning the tournament at Mercyhurst. You performed awfully well against some big names, right? Some big collegiate names at Youngstown State. You pick up the win here today. Talk about the momentum that you've got building.
Yeah, I mean the Mercyhurst tournament. We struggled at the end of game, match 4.
Okay.
But we got there and got to the championship, and in a best of 7, anybody can win, and they were so focused on what we needed to do, and they bowled great, to win. We bowled great in Youngstown. We had a little bit of a struggle on Sunday,
okay.
But still was overall was a great tournament. And this will help build us into next weekend. We learned a lot today about what the pattern's going to do and how we can focus on making some changes for next weekend. And then conference is the following weekend, and that's what we build for. We got to be ready for conference. So
yeah, last thing for you before we let you go, so you get back to the team. We talked about kind of the championship pedigree that you bring, and it is not just we're happy to be here, but you want to compete, into the national tournament. Talk about how you get there.
Yeah, it's beginning of the season, and this has always been this way for me. Is we focus on what conference is, because we know that winning conference is going to give us the opportunity to go to the NCAA tournament. So, our focus is always on let's get to the conference weekends. Let's build everything we can off of that, and be prepared for getting ourselves into the championships. Once we get to the championships, we're good enough and seasoned enough that anything can happen, and we just want that opportunity in a mega match format.
Okay.
We'll take our chances. We'll take our chances winning one of the 2 formats, and then coming to a best of 7. I'll take this team against any team in the country, and we'll take a chance at it.
Fantastic. Well, a lot of excitement building. I'll tell you what, today was great. I was happy to be a part of it. Thanks so much for dropping by, sore throat and all. We appreciate it. Thank you so much,
No
Coach.
problem. Thank you.
Folks, quick timeout. When we come back, we'll put a wrap on our broadcast as we continue on with the Combined Insurance post-game show. More to come after this.
Thanks for doing this. Appreciate it. You got it. Thank you guys very much. That was a lot of fun. You have no idea how excited I know we struggled a little bit, but they were jazzed about all this.
So we are starting with just the rollout. I mean, that's fine.
I'll get on camera with you, and then I'll go to it.
All right. So we had Simon,
We learned a lot for next weekend, which is good.
Any soccer
definitely
PKs.
traditional on Saturday, and then all day.
And we welcome you back to Classic Lanes. My name is Todd Callen with our final segment on our Combined Insurance post-game show. For all your supplemental insurance needs, just reach out to Mark Callen, 716-361-9166. Combined Insurance, a Chubb company. Well, here inside Classic Lanes, the Purple Eagles sweep the D'Youville University Saints 3-0 today, and a great afternoon. We had a ton of guests. We appreciated bringing them all to you to hear more about the story of Niagara bowling and how it came to be here on this Sunday afternoon for the inaugural home match. As we take a look at some highlights as we roll you out here from Classic Lanes in Tonawanda, we certainly want to thank all of the broadcast partners. Director of Athletics for Niagara University, Simon Gray, was here. Executive Vice President, Dr. Colley. Also, Sue Petronsky from Niagara University Athletics Administration. Sydney Skimmer not participating today, but from the Purple Eagles team giving us some great insight. Also, Christine Walsh. That was nice to have the official drop by to give us a little bit of insight on just what it takes to pull off a match. Next up for the Purple Eagles next weekend here at Classic Lanes, the Niagara Open, the Niagara Brunswick Open, Saturday and Sunday. Folks, be sure to check purpleeagles.com for all of the schedule, game day stories. All the information that you need is available at your fingertips at purpleeagles.com. Quite a match, as you can see, as the highlights roll out here as the Purple Eagles win it. They sweep the Saints by the score of 3-0. That'll do it for us here. A tip of the cap to Kyle Barker and his student-led camera crew here, bringing you all the action. Great replays all afternoon long. My name is Todd Callen, reminding you the final score once again from Classic Lanes in Tonawanda. Niagara 3 points, D'Youville 0. Have a great afternoon, everyone.